Okay, so here's the part where they're talking about the trans stuff. So we're going to listen carefully and then talk about it.
We are looking for female talents. Oh, but what if I'm... Shh! Shut the fuck up! You go by female pronouns. You live life as a woman. Do you sound like a woman? Okay, we don't care about anything else. They're free to apply, ho. Males, you may close the stream now. You need not apply. I don't care.
Stop! Fuck off!
We are a female-only company. I'm sorry. If you want to make your own little, dealer, go on. Go off. Please note the gifts at the bottom.
Okay, so this kind of reinforces why we're doing the stream, right? They're so annoyed that trans talent needs this confirmation. And they are very clearly annoyed and think this is funny. They think it's funny. And that is so messed up, dude. Like, I'm not... Okay, this is the exact problem, right? Why would I waste my fucking time if, like, they're not taking this seriously and I have to wait until Gen 2 to get an answer? Why did it take this long? And, like, even then, like, very clearly, right? They all think this is funny. They all think this is a joke. They all think this is silly. They don't take it seriously. People are asking this question not because we want to cause drama. It's because we are trying to figure out whether this is a real business opportunity for us and whether you actually see us as women. Like, that's why. That's it. I started doing ASMR because I did want to see if I could apply to VAllure. And then audition time came around and I just want to make sure, do I make stuff for my audience? Do I put time into making new ASMR content and streaming and creating video essays? Do I build my independent following or do I apply to these guys? And me and all these other trans girls didn't get any response. We didn't get anything. And that's why I litigated it publicly, okay? It's not because I dislike VAllure. It's not because I'm a hater. Like I said, I want all the talent. Like, I want these talents to succeed. I feel a way about the lolicon talent, but, like, even then, like, I'm not going to sit here and, like, go after, like, the people behind the funny anime characters. But this is so unprofessional, dude. Like, okay. And so my next question is, if you're a trans talent, if you are being harassed or if you are feeling concerned, why would you take this company seriously when they're joking about this question? And they're saying, like, this is annoying, this is dumb, just sound like a woman and you're in. This reinforces the point of the original image that I captured, right? Where it's very obvious, one, they're not thinking a lot about this, but two, they don't want to because they think it's an annoying thing. They just want people that, as they say, sound like a woman. And they don't really think that deeply about what that means because all they really care about is having someone they think is cis-passing enough and sounds girly enough so that men will give them money. That is the mindset. And that's a problem. Like, this is a problem that this is happening with a major agency, right? Like, this is the fear I've had with VAllure, which is the professionalism issue. I do think this is a red flag that if they think this is like, oh, annoying, I'm getting canceled, that there's a lack of serious consideration for the public relations aspect of VTubing. They are English Lewdtubers working in a field where a lot of trans sex workers are also operating. They do need to be on good terms with our community. Why? Because we make up a significant portion of the Lewdtubing community. A lot of trans women are Lewdtubers. But it's still like exclusion through like lack of consideration, right? Do you sound like a woman? Exclusion through lack of consideration. And the assumption that like, sounding like a woman means you sound cis, right? What they're saying here is, do you sound like a cis woman? That's it. Now, are they transphobic in belief? No, I don't think so. I think like all these talent probably are pretty chill about trans women. But I think it's transphobic in that they are discriminating against certain types of voices. That's transphobia. I don't think they take the issue seriously. And I don't think you'd be treated with disrespect, but there might be a feeling of I think there would be a significant level of pressure to sound as cis-passing as possible with your voice. I don't even think my own voice, whether I'm talking like this in my streaming voice, we're talking like this, like a mommy dom who wants to take care of you. My good little girl. My precious thing. You're so adorable. And I don't think even this voice would get into VAllure, because people come into my YouTube comments all the time asking if I'm trans or really a girl. And they ask if I'm just a boy. And I don't think they would want that, even though a lot of people think my voice is so attractive. So I think you have to basically my read, and if someone from VAllure wants to come in and say, no, you're incorrect, is that they really want us this passing voice.
I'm curious if you'd be open to doing content that isn't specifically female for male. At this point in time, the answer is just straight up no. VAllure is based on a previous established method that worked fantastically, and I want to ensure the success of anyone who is willing to take the risk to join under me, and join under the company and share the vision that is kind of, you know, what VAllure is going for. So at this point in time, no, it will always be female for male content, and I can't see that changing at this point in time. Thank you for your question.
Okay, so now why Stronny makes this decision, I understand, because I understand, I don't agree with it, but I'm going to break it down for all of you to give you a bit of insight. I used to be an editorial strategist working with strategic content creation and policies in media, right? And so I know a lot about why you create the media that you do, the content that you do, and why you focus and double down on it. And I also understand why she's making the decisions that she does, because one of the best strategic content focuses is finding something that works well, finding something that has majority popularity, that gets a lot of clicks, views, and gets you money, and just continuing to do it. I think Stronny's opinion and feeling is this. This is a very risky venture. We have found in the past that what I did at other agencies or what I did prior with my work is successful. So I'm going to take a strategy that I know is successful, teach other people how to do that strategy, become the manager for these individuals, literally manage their approach, and teach them a successful strategy. And we're not going to deviate from the strategy, because the more we deviate from the strategy, the less stable things get and the more risky things get. And this is a risky venture, and I don't want to rock the boat. I don't know how F4F would perform. So I understand that opinion. I still think it's bad. I think it's bad for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is a stagnating approach. Yes, F4M is popular, right? No doubt. But it works off the assumption that F4F content is naturally simply not going to make a lot of money or lead to a conversion over time. I have seen even on VT, there is an interest in lesbian VAllure members. People want a lesbian VAllure model. They want a lesbian VAllure idol, you know? The other thing too, as well, is that F4F as a content approach, you need to understand that F4F, while it is technically a little more niche, it still is very popular with men. It's not like the moment a VAllure model makes an F4F audio that people are going to unsubscribe. Because for a lot of people, F4F has the same appeal as watching lesbian porn. And men like watching lesbian porn because they like watching women interact with each other. You will see a lot of the time on YouTube, if you ask an F4F performer to show the gender demographics for their videos, it is like 10% female, 90% male for F4F. With F4F, it's not as if the moment you do F4F, you're cooked. Like, you need to understand, people are there for the model doing sexy things. So they want lesbian content. Now, I'm sure that DTL knows that there is sometimes a drop in views or money for certain F4F content. I'm sure that she's making this decision from somewhat of an informed standpoint. I still think it's an incorrect decision, however, because it insists, first of all, that the most important thing to do is to go through the stagnant process of what has always been done. And second of all it takes is a company doing a mixture of F4M and F4F with better resources to give serious competition to VAllure if it's better funded. And I don't think it's going to be that long until adult companies start creating their own Lewdtuber agencies. I 100% think adult companies are looking at VAllure and they're saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to hire some good talent that can make some great Lewdtubers. We're going to do what they're doing with more money, and we're going to blow them out of the water. I think that's what's happening. I think at the bare minimum, they should have an F4F VTuber. It doesn't make sense not to. I would understand if they took the look at the budget and they said it doesn't make sense resource-wise. This person's not making enough money. Like, I understand. But for Christ's sake, they have a lolicon. They have 2 of them. They have a bondage girl, 2 lollies, someone that's like kind of hypno-coded, and they were like, no, we can't do F4F though. That's too niche. Like, what? What? So earlier today, or earlier this weekend, I shared a little bit of info about VAllure's audition like FAQ stream, and it kind of went a little viral, and I think the plot was, I don't want to say the plot was lost because it's not entirely true, but I think a lot of info about VAllure and like what is exactly going on and like why the policy was worth criticizing has been lost a little bit. Like, I've seen some rumors come around that like VAllure is like homophobic because like they will actively discriminate against like lesbian content creators, and that's not entirely true. And I also want to like clear the air and do my due diligence as like a VTuber who kind of put the word out there to explain what's going on. So first, here's what we're going to do with the stream. So the information that I posted, first, that video clip where they were saying like, hey, like we're not doing any F4F content as VAllure, like that's just something that's not happening. And then also the, thank you for the follow, Barugi VT, I appreciate it. The information where they said like we want like women we want like if you sound like a woman you can apply. I want to go through the audition like advice live stream so we can get all the information possible and just see what came up. So this is going to be a longer stream because we're going to go through the whole thing. We're going to get through like all of the like introduction Q&A stuff, and my goal is both to clear the air but also I do want to provide as a public service, you know, as a Lewdtuber, more information about VAllure and whether you should actually apply. This is my way of basically saying like, look, I don't have a vendetta against VAllure. I'm not sitting here trying to like stir shit. I just am asking them to be careful and be considerate with the platform that they have. I know they see themselves as like doing this high risky venture, but they are setting the standard for lewdtubing agencies in the EN speaking world. And so it's very important that we hold them to a high standard, especially because there's a lot of resources poured into this project. I actually really went hard on becoming a Lewdtuber because I originally was going to apply to VAllure. What ended up happening for me, so you know my story, is I saw the writing on the wall at my job in games journalism at Gamers, which was Dottie Sports, the Mary Sue, Destructoid, the Escapist. I had a behind the scenes job, and I realized that I was probably going to lose my job, so I started doing VTubing. Then I found out that doing Giantess content video essays performed really well for me, and around that same time, VAllure was like officially revealed with a trailer, and I was like, this would be sick if I became one of the VAllure girls. Like, I don't necessarily know if I would get in, but this is something that I should plan for and prep. And along the way, what I realized is I needed to do ASMR content. So I started doing ASMR content to round out my portfolio, to show like, hey, I can be the real deal. I can be a Lewdtuber that can apply to VAllure. I decided not to apply to VAllure because I asked them whether they would accept trans women, and they did not respond. And when people asked publicly whether they would accept trans women, they did not respond. So I decided, look, I can create more content for my, at the time, small but growing community, or I can take a shot with an agency that's not really being upfront communicating with me about the question of whether they accept transgender women. And to me, that was a red flag. Like, if you can't answer that question, then what other things about communication might you be struggling with? And I think a year later, now that Gen 2 is literally about to start, it's about to open auditions, I think my feelings are validated in the sense that I think VAllure is struggling with communication on this issue. I don't think that the VAllure team is like actively bigoted. Like, I think what they're doing is, I think like DTL, dude that's lewd, who is kind of like the head of VAllure, I think is running the numbers and saying, well, running the numbers and concluding that what they have to do is go for like the greatest common denominator, which is F4M ASMR content, with a focus on like, like the most like normative, enjoyable voices out there, the most conventionally attractive voices, and the most conventionally attractive ideas of what people want in adult content. So I think that's what's going on here. So it's not that like they're saying like trans women are yucky or lesbians are yucky. It's that they believe they cannot be popular unless they reach like this like sort of cishet demographic, which is bigoted, but it's bigoted in a sense of like believing that the minority doesn't really matter, should reach the standard of like the majority. So, but I think it's an important distinction to make, because I don't think anyone that leads or runs VAllure is like a transphobe in the sense of like a turf, I think they just have this very antiquated and incorrect mindset that if you build it, they won't come, quite literally. No pun intended. As there's folks in my community.
Reductively, passively bigoted BC the background radiation of cishet normative society, not actively return bigoted.
Exactly. I think naivety is correct there. Like the idea here is that it's not like they're saying trans women aren't real. Like I if I recall correctly, some of the talent like hangs out with like trans VTubers and stuff. And also I want to be really clear here. Like I have nothing against the literal like people behind the VTubers. I don't really like, there's like some loliconish VTubers. I don't like that, but like the talent behind these VTubers and like the creators themselves, I have no beef with. I wish them the best. I really, really, really hope they continue to succeed, whatever comes forward. I am a fan of some of those creators as well. My issue is not with them. My issue is specifically with the strategic decisions VAllure as an agency is making. But first, before we even go to the audition, I just want to introduce you guys to what VAllure is and talk about the pros and cons, because this is not just about the controversy and like whether they are actually homophobic or transphobic. This is also about whether folks in general should apply, including folks who are saying like, you know what, fuck it, I'm a trans woman, I'm going to apply. So I'm going to go over a little bit of information about them. So just for those of you that don't know, VAllure started Gen 1 last year. What they basically are is just like a Lewdtuber agency in the sense that like they do streams and then also they create ASMR content. That's basically the long and short of it. They are Lewdtubing ASMR VTubers, and they have designs created by the agency, and they employ talent, usually talent that's somewhat new. Their focus is basically VTubing ASMR content with a lewd focus. As we found out yesterday, that focus is going to continue to be F4M, female for male, aka straight ASMR content. So let me go over the information about VAllure first. So obviously to apply, you have to be 18 years or older. This has always been one of the requirements, female, and this trip people up. They're like, what did they mean by that? So they do take trans talent. They do. You have to have a history of content creation or streaming. It doesn't matter how small. And you're willing to have to provide evidence you have produced, engaged in, or sold lewd content in the past, which they say they will privately keep. They won't necessarily like make any of it public, and that you accept that you're going to be making 18 plus content. To work for VAllure, you are looking at a minimum of 3 streams per week, pretty industry standard. This is pretty expected, and 4 lewd audios produced per month. 4 lewd audios can be a bit of work, although I find personally it's more so on the audio production side. They have a team of scriptwriters and editors to work with. It doesn't really matter if you are necessarily experienced in ASMR. The one thing that does stand out to me right away is there's a contract for 1 year in length from your debut date, and VAllure holds exclusive streaming from the talent during this time. The contract then renews at the 1 year mark if the talent chooses to sign on for the next year. So basically, once you are with VAllure, you're locked in for that year to only exclusively stream with VAllure. So if you're doing any other kind of content, you're locked in with VAllure. You are doing content as the VTuber that they hold on to. You are not creating outside of VAllure. You are a VAllure creator. There's no extreme exclusivity beyond the duration of the contract. And selected talents can work on the previous lives before debut preparation period, but they will not be granted the sign-on bonus unless pre-debut work has been completed. So just know that if you basically don't drop things and start working with VAllure pretty early on, that if you're really good with your time schedule and you know you can do everything you need to before debut starts, you just are risking some additional loss of income. Now, I want to go over, again, I really want to go through this quickly because I want to look at the audition video so we can get into the controversy, but this is important to talk about. So to set the standard that I do think VAllure is legit, and I think there are benefits to working with them from an industry and business perspective. I want to make that really clear because I don't want to come off as like just a blanket hater, you know? I am upset for a specific reason, not because I'm like jealous of VAllure or anything. So they give you a live 2D model and assets to stream with, pretty expected. You get an 80-20 split across all revenue incomes towards the talent, the highest of any agency that they know of. I will say 80-20, pretty standard in the adult sphere. Like Fansly is an 80-20 split. I believe ManyVids is also an 80-20 split. 80-20 is just very common. If you are running your own Patreon and you don't have an agency you're working with, you will get more income from Patreon specifically. But if you're working with Fansly, you will always get like an 80-20 split in general. So just be aware that like your kind of like your ASMR income from Patreon, you are taking like an adult content style revenue cut. But it's not that deep and it's pretty standard. It's just if you were a Patreon creator and nothing but a Patreon creator, you would most likely be getting a little bit more money without the help of an agency. The benefit of working with an agency like VAllure is they just provide a lot of resources and visibility. So you just can get started with like an audience and you don't have to do like what I did, which is like grind for about a year or so. All merchandise profits go towards the talent. The exciting opportunity to voice act in a lewd video game. I don't think we've seen anything from this yet, but I'm sure it's just actively in development. Create a song cover for debut. Equipment purchases on your behalf if you signed on. Sign-on bonus if you become a selected talent. A team of experienced content creators behind the scenes, along with editors, clippers, and artists. So basically, just you have a lot of resources available if you work with VAllure. So it is an 80-20% income split. Again, very common in the adult industry. So this is nothing new. It's honestly good that they have this split, that they have not like dropped it any further than that. I think that's actually a good thing. Talents for VAllure will primarily host their content on YouTube, abiding by their terms of service. All other exclusive premium content produced, hosted on Patreon. I will say, I think there's a massive benefit to having like an agency that understands the moderation ins and out of YouTube to handle all that stuff for you and preview stuff. It's very common for ASMR creators to just straight up lose their YouTube channels. I don't know whether VAllure has connections to the world of YouTube, but it's just very common in general to lose access to your YouTube. So it is nice to have an agency handle all that for you. And like you kind of don't have to worry because like the agency will help you if like something would happen to your YouTube content. Just regarding the 80-20% split, the majority of the revenue will be funds made from YouTube stream elements and Patreon, with an 80-20 split in favor of the talent. Sales of merchandise made through Uwu Market will go 100% to the talent, and any other branding or partnership deals in the future will be negotiated with the talent on a case-by-case basis. You cannot bring an existing design. Men not welcome. What constitutes as provide evidence you've produced or engaged in lewd content? It's just basically if you've drawn or commissioned any like drawings or artwork you've done of 18 plus artwork, voice acting for 18 plus work, and a history of providing related lewd services are all accepted. So you can literally be an IRL sex worker. You could have sold like some feet pics in the past. I think really what they want to see is that you generally are comfortable doing sex work. And they are generally that you're not going to like freak out that you have to like do like, you know, oh, you know, you look so good, senpai. I want to like pull down your Twitch TOSable. You know what I mean? Like they just want to make sure that you're comfortable with the talent. So that is VAllure in a nutshell, just on spec. And a lot of this is already reasons why people apply to VAllure. Now, in order to provide further information, because VAllure has grown in popularity with the introduction of Gen 1, there was a whole entire stream yesterday. It was 2 hours long. I think we should be able to get through the whole 2-hour stream. I really want to. And I'm going to be discussing like key parts of it. And I'm going to go over what is laid out in here, how this pertains to the comments that were made about, you know, like basically sounding like a woman, like for trans talent, and F for F content and whether it's accepted. I already clipped the aspect where they talk about F for F, but I'm curious if they talk about it again because I have not seen the whole video. I just saw those two specific things and felt I need to flag this. This is the part where I actually deep dive and we talk about it in more detail. Then I will end the stream by saying whether I think after watching this 2-hour primer, you should still apply to VAllure or not. My opinion, before I even go in, is that I think there are benefits to working with VAllure. I don't think you have to work with VAllure. I think you need to keep in mind that like you get this pre-existing base, but you lose a lot of creative freedom. Why? Because you have to play to the character that they assign to you, that you're selected for, and you have to do a certain kind of content, i.e., F4M. You are not doing queer content. You are not doing lesbian content. You are doing content in conjunction with the brand of the agency. So you lose the creative freedom of someone like myself who can literally does wake up one morning and says, I want to do Gina's content. I'm doing Fuda content today. What if I was yandere today? Okay, feederism today. Feederism. I have a lot of creative freedom because no one is there to tell me what to do. And I'm able to grind out over time streams and content because I have the availability to, I have the resources to grow as a VTuber. So after we watch all this, we'll conclude on that. That is the quick spiel and crash fucking course. Let me read through chat and then we'll start doing the react part of the stream.
Does not sound like me. I'm sorry.
You get to be the
Please take
iconic
away your
voice.
wax.
I will say right away, I'm not sure how easy it is to see this, but I do think the quality of the live 2D models is good. Like just analyzing things. I think like they do legitimately have good resources behind these models and they do look good. They look fun to watch. They look fun to watch in a collab. Yeah, the trailer basically just says, hey, if you want this, go apply. Yeah. And you already see what the models look like.
Now we can actually
also, hi, Amber.
start the presentation. Oops. No! What?
And then they play it again.
Next slide. Okay. I guess I will present the first, slide.
Yeah. Go on.
Here is our presentation. Strunny.
For the table of contents, we are going to go over what you should know before auditioning. Then actual audition advice. Obviously, all these 5 lovely girls that I'm surrounded by right now had successfully passed
I want mommy,
the
I
round.
want
So
milk, I
Thank
want
you for the
help,
raid,
I want
C9.
words as
comforted.
liquid gold and do not ignore what
Appreciate
they say
you.
because they were up against me, to put it that way, and you will also be
Stronny's
up against
DTL.
me. So try your best and listen to what they do, okay?
DTL basically
and we'll
runs
also
the
do
thing.
expectations. If you do manage to get in, every agency's different, but the girls are very good at explaining kind of how it's gone on and
She's very
all that
Scottish.
jazz. And then at the end, you are
C9
welcome
has
to
left the
ask
gaming
any
zone.
question, and we will try our best to answer it without just straight up giving you cheat codes.
This isn't advice. She's just very Scottish.
You know, so
I don't know if I've seen a VTuber that's Scottish
Thank you,
before.
Strunny.
Alrighty, here we go. So this is the first part. First controversy.
This slide is about what to know before auditioning. Part 1. So, ladies, please don't expect to make 12K a month right off the bat. As you can see in the corner, Stronny did have a short where she talked about her average for one of the months. You can build up to that and more, but you have to put in the time and the effort and the work to get there. The average monthly income for VAllure talents from the past 3 months, excluding outliers, was around $3,336. We are looking.
Okay, so I'm going to pause really quickly because a lot of people are saying, why are they being so upfront with money? Like, it's clearly all about money. This is so cringe. The reason why they are being very upfront with money is for 2 reasons. One, excuse me, it's not because of the burp, but it might be helping. It's because of that viral sort of like short of like, oh, I made like 12K. One of the reasons why like Stronny made so much is because she is an experienced VTuber. Like this is like she's DTL, right? Like she knows how to do this. Like, and people know she's DTL. Like it's an open secret. Like everyone knows she's an established ASMRist, and like her content's good. Like she is very good at like what she does. I think it's really telling that your first 3 months or their monthly income for talent is $3,336, because there are a lot of VTubers that make more than this, and there are VTubers that make less than this, and there are VTubers that make this much while working like jobs that are like part-time jobs to fund their VTubing. The reason why they're saying this up front, besides the viral short, is because a lot of people have OnlyFans mind. And what I mean by OnlyFans mind is that they think the moment they do lewd content, they make bank. And that's just not true. It takes a very long time. I have been doing full-time VTubing for a year, right? Like my main job has been VTubing. What I do for income is VTubing. And I make a year after that, a year and some change technically, because I started like December, is about $600 a month from VTubing. Obviously, 1/5 of what they're making. So it's clear right away you get benefits from working with VAllure. You get more money quickly, but it's not a situation where you make an insane amount of money right off the bat. And also some of that 12K, just really quickly, that Stronny's making, very clearly going back to VAllure. I don't think she's just like sitting on like a nice high-end apartment building with 12K. You know, it's like, I know this is like a passion project for her. You know, I'm trying to be very objective here because I don't want to come off as a hater, you know, and there's things that like, I do like that, like for some of the talent, like this is an opportunity for them to get a start because they're new talent. Like I like the idea of what VAllure is supposed to be. So I do want to stress like right off the bat that like, I think it's good they're being upfront with money. And I think if you apply to VAllure, like you're applying because you want to be like, your newish talent who wants to be seen very quickly, get that leg up right away with money and platform. Because if things don't work with VAllure, people will follow you. Like they'll say like, oh, you were that one Gen 1 talent. You were that one Gen 2 talent. I'm going to go do like follow what you do after agency work. It's very common to be doing agency work and then go back to what you were doing prior. I believe that's what Secret Subject did. So I want to stress that it's not a bad thing that they're talking about money up front. I saw people saying like, oh, they're talking about money up front. That's like a red flag. And it's not really, because like a lot of people that want to audition want to make bank. Like they want to be successful sex workers. Like that's it. So I want to clear that. Lewd isn't a golden ticket. Yeah, Ember knows this very well. Like Ember knows that like Ember is very successful, right? Like she's Twitch partner, 100+ viewers, popular blue site, and she's still got to grind for that stuff. Hey Roxy, this does feel pandering though, because there's one thing to be open and real about the finance of the job, and that's another to talk about work and effort in this sort of way. I mean, yeah, it's a little crazy for them to be like we had to do the grind set, because like none of these guys had to do like the grind set that I had to, right? Like maybe in their past VTubings if they were, but like all these guys got like a head start. Like I make some of the views that these guys do on like Orange site, on like sites that are not YouTube. But even my YouTube would do as well as them. It took about a year. But like these guys, they didn't have to grind for that. They just got it like in the first year. Like they were basically at like their 3rd or 4th year on their first year. So it's not really fair. Like they do have to grind. They do have to work. They're expected to work. But like they don't have to grind the way other VTubers do. And that's really important. And that's because of Stronny right here. It's because she has access and she was able to, you know, leverage her access and her popularity to get these girls popular too. Okay, so here's the part where they're talking about the trans stuff. So we're going to listen carefully and then talk about it.
We are looking for female talents. Oh, but what if I'm... Shh! Shut the fuck up! You go by female pronouns. You live life as a woman. Do you sound like a woman? Okay, we don't care about anything else. They're free to apply, ho. Males, you may close the stream now. You need not apply. I don't care.
Stop,
fuck off! We are a female-only company. I'm sorry. If you want to make your own little, you know, dealer, go on. Go off. Please note the gifts at the bottom.
Okay, so this kind of reinforces why we're doing the stream, right? They're so annoyed that trans talent needs this confirmation. And they are very clearly annoyed and think this is funny. They think it's funny. And that is so messed up, dude. Like, I'm not... Okay, this is the exact problem, right? Why would I waste my fucking time if, like, they're not taking this seriously and I have to wait until Gen 2 to get an answer? Why did it take this long? And, like, even then, like, very clearly, right? They all think this is funny. They all think this is a joke. They all think this is silly. They don't take it seriously. People are asking this question not because we want to cause drama. It's because we are trying to figure out whether this is a real business opportunity for us and whether you actually see us as women. Like, that's why. That's it. You know, I started doing ASMR because I did want to see if I could apply to VAllure. And then audition time came around, and I just want to make sure, do I make stuff for my audience? Do I put time into making new ASMR content and streaming and creating video essays? Do I build my independent following, or do I apply to these guys? And me and all these other trans girls didn't get any response. We didn't get anything. And that's why I litigated it publicly, okay? It's not because I dislike VAllure. It's not because I'm a hater. Like I said, I want all the talent. Like, I want these talents to succeed. I feel a way about the lolicon talent, but like, even then, like, I'm not going to sit here and like go after like the people behind the funny anime characters. But this is so unprofessional, dude. Like, okay. And so my next question is, if you're a trans talent, if you are being harassed or if you are feeling concerned, why would you take this company seriously when they're joking about this question and they're saying like, this is annoying, this is dumb, just sound like a woman and you're in? This reinforces the point of the original image that I captured, right? Where it's very obvious, one, they're not thinking a lot about this, but two, they don't want to because they think it's an annoying thing. They just want people that, as they say, sound like a woman. And they don't really think that deeply about what that means, because all they really care about is having someone they think is cis-passing enough and sounds girly enough so that men will give them money. That is the mindset. And that's a problem. Like, this is a problem that this is happening with a major agency, right? Like, this is the fear I've had with VAllure, which is the professionalism issue. I do think this is a red flag, that if they think this is like, oh, annoying, I'm getting canceled, that there's a lack of serious consideration for the public relations aspect of VTubing. They are English Lewdtubers working in a field where a lot of trans sex workers are also operating. They do need to be on good terms with our community. Why? Because we make up a significant portion of the Lewdtubing community. A lot of trans women are Lewdtubers. Female pronouns also excludes NBs. This also, I think, is important to note as well. If you're like, and I think this is because they're not even thinking, like, I think they just are like very like cis. You know, they're not like thinking about these things. They're not thinking about like what like non-binary women. They just are trying to hit like that least common denominator. But it's still like exclusion through like lack of consideration, right? Do you sound like a woman? Exclusion through lack of consideration. And the assumption that like, you know, like sounding like a woman means you sound cis, right? What they're saying here is, do you sound like a cis woman? That's it. Hey, Ruko, they can't be openly apologetic, otherwise their transphobic base will call them woke. They can't say trans bad, otherwise they're openly transphobic. Silence is ideal for them. That's why they never addressed this, because they knew the moment they said something, they're either going to... Well, okay, the thing you need to understand, Food Wired Pizza, is NB is like trans, right? It can mean a lot of things. So, like, I'm a trans woman, right? But I'm a binary trans woman. You can be a non-binary woman. And you can also be a woman with non-binary pronouns. So you can use like they, them, but be a woman. You can use like he, him, but be a woman. Hence like he, him, lesbians. So this is a problem just because it's sort of basically saying like they want like a normative version of woman. Like it's just, they're basically saying like, you know, female pronouns equals woman. Like it's the only way to be a woman. It's what they're softly applying. They're not meaning to. Like, I don't think they're trying to be like, hey, we're not woke, wink, wink. Like, I don't think it's like that. I think it's just like a level of like, they seriously do not know how this looks. And that's a problem. Cis women have such a wide range of voices. What exactly is the correct cis woman voice? And that's the thing too. Like, people will tell me, okay, Anna, you have a voice that's good enough. You could apply to VAllure. But it's like, I probably would get rejected, right? Because people do clock me as trans and they say like I don't sound that much like a woman sometimes. And other people are like, you sound so feminine, right? Like it really depends. It also depends on the ASMR I'm doing. Like sometimes I sound like a little more boyish and sometimes I sound a lot more girly. And I think that fluidity would be a little bit too much for an organization like this. I just think they would be nervous. Cassie's a really good example, right? I'm 100% femme, going for passing voice, all that, and I don't use she, her. Like that's exactly, they bring up such a good point. Like that is another really good point here. And you have to remember that a lot of the VTubing community is like that. Like we're not we're drawn to VTubing because like we're little, fruits in your phone, The other thing is, and I want to stress this, is when it comes to what Barugi said, they can't be openly apologetic, otherwise their transphobic fan base will call them woke. They can't say trans bad, otherwise they're openly transphobic. Silence is ideal for them. That was their policy for a year because they knew they had to be well liked by like the 4chan style crowd, right? They knew like that was going to be a main money source for them, that a lot of these ASMR girls were seen as like not super woke, just like kind of like, just like chill, they'll have trans talent on, but like they're not like, going out of their way to talk about trans stuff, but also they're not being transphobic. Like it's just like they're just kind of chill is what I would say. They need to not come off as super trans inclusive either because they don't want to lose that audience. Like I need you to understand, like this is very traditional. Like we are trying to appeal to everyone by not making too big of a deal of this sort of situation. They don't want to lose out on potential talent, but also they don't want to be controversial or canceled or anything like that. And it's why I'm pushing the issue just a little bit, because I feel like at this day and age, like you do have to choose. Like you can't have it both ways. Like you can't have trans fans or people that are like trans and like this is cool, and then also like trying to get like the anti-woke crowd like to tolerate you, like it's just like you can't like, because what ends up happening is your company gets slowly dictated by those like anti-wokesters. They hate the trannies, like that's what happens. Truly it's the VT grind set. Like it's exactly that. It's just the VT grind set. Like they and they're popular on VT. Like people like them, like and they want to maintain that. Like that's what's going on. And not even everyone on VT is like transphobic, but like there are transphobic people on VT, All right, so let's keep going. Like that's my spiel. We'll get to the F4F stuff later. I'll keep going through it, but this is obviously the main part of the controversy.
In their footnotes.
Okay. Azura?
Yeah, I mean like the lolly stuff is like really important to them on VT.
What to know?
Oh, in the West because they
for
openly.
auditioning.
Are you
Part
nervous?
2. Yay. Yes.
Aww,
Read off.
baby.
Don't be nervous. Be something else.
Be yourself.
No, you don't need to show your body or do fansly streams if you don't want to. Yeah, you can be as lewd as you want. Only the lewd Patreon audios are required. You still have to be comfortable with NSFW content, of course. I would only say don't do something you really don't want to do and that you're definitely not comfortable with doing.
Do not.
She's so quiet. Poor Zora. I would say that I do feel at some point like if you're a Lewdtuber, you got to be ready to do fansly streams if you want to make the most money. I think like you do have to think here, just like what's gonna happen is you realize the girls that do IRL content make more money than you, so there's gonna be a quiet pressure to do this. I don't think VAllure is ever gonna sit there and say like you need to do this, but I just be aware. VTubing is very competitive. Everyone likes to trade numbers, talk about money. You are going to feel pressure to do this, right? This is naturally going to occur. I feel pressure to do it, okay? Like, I've done IRL sex work, as in, like, IRL photos, like, and videos and stuff like that. And I felt pressured to, like, start posting titty again, because it makes money. It's, like, additional aid. And if you want to make the big dollars, you are going to start to do that work. So just be aware of that. Like, I think if anyone wants to apply, just, like, be aware that that's a thing.
Join if you're not comfortable with lewd content.
Yeah.
It's that fucking simple.
Yeah, don't.
Amy put out the most ASMR on YouTube too compared to her gen mates. I mean, there it is. Even in VTubing, there's a constant pressure to IRL post, even in Safe for Work. Whenever VTubers do immersion breaks, they get a big rush of numbers, and there's a strong silent pressure that you must do it. I think that's what inevitably is going to happen. Like, I do think the agency is going to sit there and very much support anyone that's feeling that pressure, and they're going to tell them like we are never going to expect that from you, but you are going to make so much more money if you do.
Don't
Just
sacrifice
don't.
your comfortability just to get
just
into a corpo, guys.
Don't.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be.
I will say
gotta
that
be.
I am the most say-so of the company. I don't do a lot of as lewd stuff as my gen mates, but I do really like not safe for work content, and I do the
Doo-doo.
lewd audios every month.
By the way, if you're say so, people are gonna love it when you're stop being say so. Just gonna put it out there. Like, I'm sure she feels the pressure.
There will be an interview this time.
Yeah, so you may have
It's
seen my
awful.
short where I said that we didn't get interviewed. Yeah, there's gonna be interviews this time, so just
Yep.
be aware that.
I think this is particularly bad for folks that are trans that want to apply, because you're gonna feel that pressure of someone sitting there trying to judge your voice whether you're a woman enough. I think this bad times. I can already imagine myself feeling self-conscious there, wondering whether like I'm gonna pass the lady test or be too tranny for them.
You won't just get an email saying you're in. You gotta be interviewed first.
Stronny,
Bad
is it one or
times.
two? Can we answer that?
It's what, 1 or 2?
Is how many interviews do the person have to go through?
It looks like 2 at this point in time.
2
Oh
interviews.
shit. Okay.
Okay.
Bruh.
That's crazy.
We
lucked out anyway.
It's
My
awful.
quote unquote interview was, "You are so in."
They're like, here's your model. Do you accept? And I'm like,
So I'm reading these statements to this shit. Everyone agreed. Everyone got given their shit. It was so quick, simple, easy, fast. It was not a problem. This time I have to actually be professional, and I'm ready to throw up at the thought of it, of having to go. So, tell
Oh,
me a
no.
bit more about yourself.
Oh no, we have to be professional. Bro, no way. Your business, bro. I know no one likes doing interviews, but that is such a wild thing to say when you're running a company. I'm dreading the thought of running my company.
No, I
No one likes to do an interview, okay? No one likes to cast them. No one likes to be in them. But that is such a funny fucking thing to admit. Bro, I hate running my business like a business.
don't. It's
That's-
so cringe.
It
I
is
hate
true.
it.
I will say that most VTuber agencies can go up to 6 or 7 interview stages.
What the fuck?
Ugh.
Holy fuck!
Some
That's
people will
insane.
test you on how your ability to stream, your singing ability,
Oh, God.
your and they will test you on like a numerous amount of things, and that will be a part of the interview. So please understand that 2 is pretty easy.
honestly, in my IRL jobs, I've gone through for one corporate job, I went through 5 interviews. So
Holy
Oh,
shit.
yuck.
yep. But
I
it makes
had
sense
to
because
deal with that personally. Luckily.
we have more interviews because now we have more eyes on us. We're gonna have a bigger application
Yeah.
pool. It only makes sense that we work really hard, or that Stronny and our management works really hard to find the right people that are right fit. So
I kind of feel like they're going to bump up the interviews next year when they do Gen 3, because I don't think 2 is going to be enough. I think they're going to get a lot of applicants.
Put all that information on the website.
She's so Scottish.
It is fair to be like, I wouldn't expect to even have access to this information.
She sounds like Clove from Valorant, or like she makes me realize I sound like Burger.
Like, don't like try and respect.
They're unprofessional, so you don't need to put up that professional mask. I do think like that's true. I do think it looks a little weird to be like, I think like when you're the boss of a company, like you have to act like it publicly a little though. Like you shouldn't be like, I'm fucking dreading meeting all of my new talent.
time, and we'll respect your time. Like, going through your
That's
application and
crazy.
everything, you know? A deal's a deal.
Deal's a deal.
Audition advice, part 1. Have content creation experience. No, we're not hiring if you never streamed
Mhm.
or have never uploaded a single video. We're looking for actual VTubers, not VTweeters. So listen up, motherfuckers. If the only thing you ever did is post a bunch of tweets, and that's the only thing you ever did, I'm sorry, we're not hiring you. Goodbye.
but I'm in pre-debut for 3 months.
I
Can
don't
I
give
please
a
join?
fuck. I don't give a fuck. Listen, even
I get why they're saying this, but I've definitely known people that are like V-tweeters and they debut, instant popularity. Like we'll hit partner in a very short time. Like Mora didn't debut for the longest time, but the moment she debuted, bam, like she hit the ground running. She's gonna hit partner pretty shortly. All she has to do is just stream more. Also, her reach is insane. Like, I was seeing Moira like before I even started VTubing. Like, she would just pop up in my feed. I think it reached a point where Twitter wasn't as generous to Moira, but Twitter fucking loved Moira to the point where I thought like Moira was like one of the biggest VTubers ever before I got like serious about VTubing, because like she would just be in my feed all the time. I think like kind of making a big deal about this is a little silly. This is like what someone who spent too much time on the internet gets upset about. Like, obviously, if you've never done content creation, like, fair. If all you do is post about stuff on the internet, yeah, it's annoying. Like, go create stuff, but it's not that deep. Like, I get it because they probably get a lot of applicants that have never done anything, and they're probably gonna get applicants that have never done anything, and they're gonna be like, "You're so cringe." But it just seems like a little mean to like make a big deal about VTweeters. Like, who cares? Like, okay, like, yeah, you need to make stuff. Like, okay.
If you're in Pretty View, you can still start making ASMR videos. You can still even stream, even if you're in Pretty View, to be honest. And there's so many forms of content that you can create, like art, for example. That too.
Foodwire Pizza. It's transphobic because they're saying that there's a certain kind of voice they want, and it's cis women's voices, and you have to sound like a cis woman. That's transphobic. Now, are they transphobic in belief? No, I don't think so. I think like all these talent probably are pretty chill about trans women. But I think it's transphobic in that they are discriminating against certain types of voices. That's transphobia. They're saying you have to sound like a certain type of woman. Imagine if the company said, if you stutter, I'm sorry, you have to sound like a woman who doesn't stutter. That would be discriminatory based on disability.
I don't know.
There you go. Like, that's the problem.
There's so many.
The fact they didn't explain because they didn't see it as important enough, mock it, laugh about it, and gloss over it while giving an extremely subjective rule that has literally no real definition. That is the problem. Like, I was expecting to watch this and see them like kind of be sensitive about it, and I would kind of roll back and be like, okay, like maybe I jumped too far. Instead, it reinforced me getting upset because they didn't take it seriously. They thought it was a fucking meme. They thought we're all like angry and want to cancel them. They have like hater brain. They're like, oh, we have haters. They're being real like cringe to us, and like only 1% of trans women care. It's like, no, it's not like that. I'm trying to run a business here. Like, I'm trying to run my VTubing business and decide like whether I apply to you guys. Like, that's why I got upset. Cause like they didn't communicate with me. That's the problem. And like if they weren't transphobic, Foodwired Pizza, then they should have just told me like what their policy was in Gen 1. Very clearly they needed a year to figure out how to talk about this. Queer people and those who consider themselves as allies should really be putting the pressure on the apolitical crowd. I don't mean like actively trying to start flame wars and doing call-out threads, but just clearly drawing the line of I'm not willing to compromise on these things or willing to associate myself with anyone who pretends they can just go without taking a stance on those views. I mean, like, yeah, exactly. I'm not even expecting them to be perfect, okay? Like, I just want them to take it seriously and like communicate with trans talent when trans talent is asking a question. Like, it's just that. And I want to be clear, again, like, I have no beef with the individual talent. I think this is 100% the problem of VAllure. I mean, it's not cool to see the talent making fun of this issue. Like, that looks bad for the company. But, like, it's the problem is, like, VAllure's messaging and the unprofessionalism here. And I think it's very clear that there's unprofessionalism here. You know, I think it's very clear that there's stuff going on with how the company considers, like, its public relations that's not good. Like, imagine if, like, an actual controversy beyond this stuff hits. I mean, like, this is a controversy, like, it's a problem. But imagine if something hits VAllure where they need to have really keen and clear communication. I don't expect we would get that. I think their policy is to ignore things until it becomes too much of a problem. And, like, I want to be clear. Like, I would collab with a lot of the talent here. Like, it's not all of it, like, not the lolly stuff, but, like, I would collab with a lot of the talent. I have nothing against, like, a lot of the talent here. Like, I want them to be successful. It's just I want the company, the actual corporation, to be mature and professional and sensitive because there's a lot of trans talent in the VTubing space.
Company.
Emphasis on talent. Like, there are professional trans voice actors in the space.
Show your voice acting skills. having experience making ASMR content is a huge bonus show that in your audition. Damn, I can't read. Sorry, I'm kind of mentally ill. But even if you're mentally ill, you can still get in, as you can see.
To a certain extent.
Basically, if you have experience making ASMR content, show that in your audition. I have actually shown my audition video in one of my streams.
I have as well.
Yeah, Shibi has as well. So if you want to take a look at that, you can. Maybe that will help you. And in my audition, personally, I have actually included literally a full-on audio of an ASMR RP.
Yeah, we're
that
gonna
I've
be here a
done.
while, aren't we?
So.
I think it's good that like you don't need a lot of ASMR experience. I do think one of the benefits of VAllure is that like you can be relatively new to the space and like get in. I do think it's a legitimately good thing.
Okay,
Any
next slide.
sliders?
Any sliders? All right, it's my turn. Yay. Okay,
Damn, that's
audition advice
crazy.
for 2. So, good thing that I'm the one saying this. If you do not want to use your natural voice to stream, that's fine, you know. We're a voice acting company. We understand that, you know, people can put on different voices to play a character. But you have to let the hiring team know this. And you must show them your real voice in your video. That's what I did. I opened my audition and I introduced myself in this voice. And then after I finished introducing myself, I was like, JK, that's not my real voice. I actually sound like this. And then I continued my audition. So yeah, make sure you tell them.
You wanna hear what my voice was in the audition tape?
I'm laughing because Ace was like,
I am curious what their incomes are based on their different focuses. If the lolly talent makes more, I wouldn't be surprised. Like the more say so and you are, the less you make. The more lolly you are, the more you make. I'm curious. Like I'm just curious. And I'm curious not because I'm trying to be like, interesting. It's just more like you're gonna feel pressure as Gen 2 to be a certain type of VTuber, right? If you see like the lolly girls make the most money, then you're gonna feel pressure to like potentially do something you're really uncomfortable with.
no, AC legit. Yeah, AC did 4 different
I'm
versions
Renna.
of
Thanks
her
for
voice.
watching.
They're very hesitant on like taking a stance because they just know a lot of their audience is like sitting there like getting upset about Assassin's Creed. Like it's not all their audience, but they know like that they're gonna just lose money. They're like held hostage by that group. That's kind of how I read them. Like they're just held hostage. Strani's the green one. Strani's the green. Strani runs the company. I will say, when it comes to different voices, just be aware that like, if you lean into a certain type of voice, it can cause vocal strain, right? So like the cutesy kawaii voice, like it can really hurt people to do that one a lot. I like doing the mommy voice as a trans girl. I like being like this, very breathy, very femdommy. This voice that all of you have heard me use in ASMRs and streams. Because one, it's very natural to me. I like talking like this. It's a part of my personality after all. I am a little controlling. But two, the level of training and vocal strain is not so bad. It's breathy. It's similar to my normal speaking voice. It requires a bit of playing a character, but it's not that bad. It's easy to play this role for 3 or 4 hours, and it comes with minimal vocal strain. If I tried to sound kawaii and sugoi, and I guess lolly, it would really hurt my voice. And you wouldn't want that. So just be aware when you're signing up for these things and you want to do a specific kind of voice. that it might be something that is difficult to maintain. DTL, dude, that's lewd, runs VAllure. An example is Susie, who damaged her voice after so much training and streaming with a high-pitched voice. Yeah, it's very, very true. Dude, that's lewd is the reason why this... It comes all right. Dude, that's lewd is the reason why this exists in the first place. She's just very popular. She's just very popular, made a lot of money ASMR, so she's able to bankroll this as a thing. And I think, like, as a performer, like, DTL's fine. Like, it's just, I think... You know, there's like baby's first time being popular, and then there's like first time running a business. And I think that like maybe this is, I think she has a lot of industry experience, but it's just like, ooh, like just hire someone to do PR for you. Like a lot of VAllure issues will be solved with PR and like media training. And like they need that in this environment. Like it's a company. They need like crisis training, media training. Is the Scottish girl the one who runs the company? Yeah, the very Scottish one that sounds like Clove from VAllure is the one that runs the company.
Okay, audition advice part 3. I have experience
I love
basically.
Rule 53. Wait, can you see? Let me see. Rule 53, do not be racist. That's a good rule.
I have experience auditioning over 100 times for companies, and I have learned from each one each time. So the number one thing is to show and not just tell. The most important thing is show.
That's good advice.
Tell. So show off any skills you have. If you have singing, acting, editing, instruments, if you can do voice impersonations, if you are just hilarious and can think of like puns on the fly, do it. Even if you think it's kind of irrelevant, it can help you set yourself apart from the other applicants. So, for example,
For the times it's been at how Scottish she is. She's just so Scottish. Like she just stands out to me. She's so Scottish. I've also like talked to people that know her and they think she's on the level, which is why I'm like not being like, fuck you DTL, fuck you DTL. Like it's just like, I also just like, that's not my vibe. Like I just want the company to do things more appropriately. I don't want to like make a big deal out of like individuals. But I've like talked to like folks that know DTL and they're like, yeah, like trust me, she is chill. So I'm like, okay, like I trust your judgment. So I think like she's making like some, I think she like needs to take these problems more seriously.
Voice acting, I have a voice acting background.
If they're very normative and money driven, it'd be odd to hire someone with an aggressively Scottish voice. Well, you know, it's like Scottish privilege.
Not great, but some drawing
What are we talking
skills.
about tonight? Hey, Dithron, we're talking about VAllure and like their policy on trans talent and also their policy on F4F content.
Which I showed off in my audition video. And so show off anything. I also showed that I was like okay at writing scripts as well. by writing out these kind of script for my audition video. So yeah, anything counts. Throw it in if you think it's like funny.
Yeah, and me, for example, I literally like had a DJ set.
I did actually send them my scripts for the scriptwriter position when I like really needed money. I know people are gonna be like, what the hell, Anna? It's like, girl, I was like I was broke, okay? Like I needed money. Like, and this is also why I'm sitting here like, here's advice to apply, because I know what it's like to be a sex worker with no money. Like this is life-changing money if you like you have zero monies. 3,000 monies is a lot of monies. So, like, I get it. I don't judge anyone's going to apply. But, like, I did apply to be a scriptwriter, and I didn't hear back. And I did have a lot of experience. I mean, like, I am a professional writer. I think it's probably because I spoke out against the company, but also they just might have not seen me, lol. Or I didn't have enough experience. Although I've worked for, like, Ellie Bell, and I'm writing for other VTubers now, and I write most of my stuff, too. I don't really have, like, a beef because of it. Like, look, I spoke out. Like, I get it. Like, you don't want me to work there. That is cool. I get it. Like I would also reject me. So it's all good. Like it's I'm not mad, you know. Female applied to humans. It feels really weird.
So just throw it in, whatever you think you're good at, or could set you apart and could make your personality really stand out. And second of all, make sure your online presence is not full of crazy shit. Sorry. Let me try that again. Crazy. Be normal, and what normal is up to you to decide, because I'm not going to hold your hand and tell you what it is. But I'm pretty sure you can infer.
And we will be checking if you're saying whack shit.
We will be checking.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
if
We
you
will
have
literally
see.
stalk you.
If you have said
I
whack shit
mostly
in the
will
will
be
past,
stalking.
you cannot run away from the whack shit you've said. We'll find out about it.
We will find
We
out.
will find you.
Inappropriate for VAllure because of breeding farm tweet.
Stunning.
Audition advice part
Okay, we're gonna
4.
skip this part because like this is all like it makes sense, right? Like this is like, you know, if you're good at art, show it. If you're good at writing, show it. If you're good at coming, I don't know, maybe.
Audition advice part 5. Sorry, my cats are freaking out in the background.
Hi, Shibi. I
Don't
like
feel
Shibi.
bad if you don't get
I genuinely like Shibi. Like I've tweeted at her a couple times. I genuinely like her.
chosen. There's only 5 spots.
Maybe because she's like not lolly. That's a huge motivator, I feel.
We believe in you. If you really want to be a content creator full time, you don't need a company to succeed. You don't need a corpo. There are so many successful indies. So please don't get hung up on like if you don't make it that it's the end. No. Let this show you that you can even improve upon your content and you can push yourself even harder. We will be having a Gen 3 eventually, so that you can always reapply. No, we are not interested in hiring male talents! No, there will not be a male branch! We are not pulling a Babiniku moment! Get the fuck out!
Male, get out of here.
So if you don't know what a Babiniku is, a Babiniku is basically a guy using a female model. So we will not be hiring any man to play a female character. So yeah, just girls, please. Thank you.
I promise that we're also not misandrous, but it's just like that's not the niche that we're aiming for in this company. There's a whole like there's so many companies. You got First Stage, you got Niche. There's other companies that you can apply to that are
Yeah, but they're not Lewdtuber companies. Also, I think this is another good example where it's like, look, I get this. They're saying like no men. Like, okay, like yeah, completely. But like, okay, let's say they do bring on trans talent and they're saying like no Babiniku, no Babiniku, no Babiniku, right? Like, I don't know how the correct way to explain this, and I'm a trans woman, but basically like I can see a world where they bring on trans talent and people show up to see that trans talent and they're like, what the fuck? You don't sound like enough of a woman. Babiniku, Babiniku, Babiniku. And that just, I think like them emphasizing this, it gives me a little pause. Like, it's just like, it's a little bit like they're setting up their trans talent to also struggle with their communities, you know? Like if they do bring on trans talent. And my feeling honestly is I think they are open to bringing on trans talent, but you have to have a really passing voice. Maybe not like uber passing, but it has to sound good enough. We don't understand the dynamic, but they seem to not really how provocative they're sounding. Yeah, like screaming like no Babinikus, no males. It's just like, look, I get like why they are saying this because a lot of men are asking if they can be Lewdtubers there. But like when they go into the Babiniku territory, it's just like they're setting the expectation that like we don't want any masculine sounding voice with a female character. And like audiences interpret trans girl voices sometimes as too masculine. And that's the problem. Audiences also interpret cis women's voices sometimes too masculine. So it's like setting up trans talent to feel this additional pressure on itself.
There's
not
Hollow
this one.
Stars.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Hollow Stars. Yeah, you got this. Go find a lady like a cougar, and then like take her money and make your own company. Like it's that easy, guys. Like, come on, put your brains together. You got this.
No, okay. Well,
I like
anyone
Mel. Hi,
can
Trimmer.
apply. It's just if you are a man, your application will be thrown out the window. That's all. Like if you want to like waste your time, I guess. But
If you want us to laugh at you.
like it'll just be a waste of time if you do because we're not interested.
If
in
you're a
hiring them.
male
That's all.
applying, you will be added to the burn book. Just
Yeah, you're gonna be added to the burn book.
It is most likely
name.
that
Fugly
it is also,
bitch.
there is a chance that your video will not also be watched at all, so the effort will go in vain.
I think this is also a good example of like how likely they are to misgender trans talent and decide like a male has applied, you know? Like I don't know. That's another open question. Like I actually just don't know.
Yeah. Next. Azura.
Look at the fucking Andrew Tate photo.
Why did they do the
Please
Andrew
put
Tate ass photo?
effort into answering the questions in the audition app. Think
Why?
about why they ask those specific questions and answer them seriously. A huge
Ass is required.
That image is photoshopped of Andrew Tate, right? That's not really what his ass looked like.
Andrew.
If so, I feel like they need to do like a customs check on that booty before he got into Florida.
Ached.
Didn't he also get arrested right away? Isn't he like cooked? Getting real men and women's spaces vibes from this, to be honest. It's just very like, at best they don't know what they're saying. At worst they do. You know. I think
So
this
it's like
is
you
pretty
actually want-
obvious.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
like-
skip
We don't
it.
want- We're skipping time forward. So
Welcome.
you joined VAllure. Now what? You would be expected.
Yeah, I'm curious if Gen 2 has any trans talent. Like, I will also be paying attention. I'm not gonna litigate once Gen 2 is revealed because one, I don't want to like light up a lot of their talent in general. Like, I just don't like. A lot of them are at the mercy of the VAllure overlords. You know, it's like it's not really their fault. But it's also like I will be paying attention. The other thing is like I also don't want to like be like, yo, I think this person is cisgender, and then find out I'm wrong. Because like I have heard voices that I thought were like cis women but were trans, and trans women that were cis. So
To make ASMR content. VAllure stands for VA, voice acting. So please keep that in mind. That you will need to make
I get
ASMR
it.
content. So you will be expected.
Hey Lois,
to make
remember that
kind of
time I
content.
applied for VAllure?
Don't join if you don't want to make that kind of content. Hope it's
Pretty clear. Yeah, pretty obvious.
yeah. Since we're an adult company, some people in the VTuber community will simply not want to interact or associate.
This is
with you.
kind of true.
You have to understand that you may be left out of events or collabs in the community for this reason.
Okay, this is sometimes true, but like I find mostly it's not. Like a lot of indie VTubers don't give a shit. I am literally, my whole thing is I'm a Lewdtuber on Twitch, and a lot of indie VTubers that have no interest in that content love me and like doing stuff with me. So just know that this is only kind of true. Like it's, yeah, like someone who's really say-so is not going to want you on, but it's like, you know, it's like, okay.
Here's a GIF.
Peter Griffin VTuber. Hey Lois, remember that time I was a VTuber? The format of combining a May collab stream with an official business meeting is not really working well. As you said, at the end of the day, this is a damn job. You don't fucking walk into a job interview and start showing the interviewer your meme folder. It does definitely look unprofessional, and I know that they're trying to go for a vibe of like, we are silly and fun, and like work is not super serious here. But like, if you've ever worked at a job where like people are like, the work is not super serious here. It's all fun and games until like, I don't know, like your paycheck doesn't show up. And then you're like, what the fuck? You know, like, okay, it's not cool that we're having a pizza party right now. I need to pay rent. Like, you know, it's like, it's all fun and games until the startup culture is startup culture. If you've ever worked at a place with startup culture, you know it's awful. Like, it's fun when you first start, but eventually you want your job to be your job the same way you want your dad to be your dad, not your best friend. You need your dad to be your fucking dad, you know? Like, I collab with multiple Lewdtubers and I do exclusively SFW. I don't want to hang around SW-phobic VTubers anyway. I think like basically like what they're coming up against is like major VTubers from like major agencies don't want to do stuff with them, and it's like, yeah, like duh. Like of course, like, oh man, HoloLive doesn't want to hang out with whores. Like, okay. Like, geez, Fork also was just found in kitchen. Like, it's just like, of course they don't want to hang out with sex workers. It's HoloLive. Come on.
That is
Be
love.
me. Join VAllure. Don't like making ASMR. That feel win.
Yeah.
And we have each other, so.
We have each other. It's a
I love
family
you
here.
guys. No, I love you too.
Do you think they actually love each other? Do you think they hate each other deep down? I feel like some of them actually legitimately like each other and others probably fucking hate each other. Because it's like that in all VTuber circles. Like, all of us VTubers act like we get along with each other, but there are actively VTubers who are like, do not put me in the same room with this woman. I will murder her. And it's like, okay, geez, we just all eat tiny people over the internet. Like, it's, oh, what'd she do?
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, so you joined VAllure. Now what? Part 2. Okay. You will get hate, okay? And
You'll
it's
get hate.
possible you will get a lot of hate, okay? No matter what you do, you will never be good enough for some people, okay? It doesn't matter if you're the best streamer, the best content creator, the best ASM artist, that you have the most amazing voice. You're never gonna be perfect for some people. Please be prepared to handle hate comments. If you think you've gotten hate comments before, you have not gotten hate comments.
not gotten hate comments before.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. I've definitely gotten the level of hate that they have. I can handle the heat. But it does fuck up your life. I think this is something that I wasn't expecting them to talk about, but I do want to talk about. I think like if anyone wants to be a Lewdtuber or a public figure in general, you need to get ready for like your life potentially being never the same ever again. Like it's just like once you're a public figure, you can't uncork that bottle. More particularly if you're a trans woman in these spaces. But yeah, like once you're a whore, you're done. Like you're a whore. Like it's cooked. Like you are now forever going to be branded as a whore in people's eyes, and people will fucking hate you. I still get people also because I'm a trans woman whore and like a top. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like a trans top performer. There are people that actively are like, I want her to be killed, and I'm like, oh okay. Well now I definitely need to make sure my address doesn't get posted on the internet, you know, because like I don't want someone with a gun to show up to my house. Once you are like internet stalked, your life is like never the same. I definitely know people who are just like their brains are cooked from experiencing it. I'm sure like all these girls have also had their lives cooked a little bit in some shape or form. And here they're not talking about trans stuff. They're talking about like people that hate sex workers on the internet or people who are just looking to like dox you. Like they're not talking about like us criticizing them. They're like actively talking about like people who are like, oh, she's a popular VTuber. Time to find out where she lives. You know, it's like that stuff.
Not like these ones.
Not these ones.
Not like these ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we started, we got a lot of death threats and a lot of hate.
Yep, I told you.
It was really, really bad for him.
I think anyone who's going to sign up for VAllure, get ready. Like, it's like, okay, like, be prepared for your parents to find out.
Mental health.
I'm real, though. Like, actually be ready.
We weren't even hired yet, and then we got hired, and then it got worse.
Yeah, like, she's so correct.
Yeah.
So, not only is... You don't really have to... You start to develop a thick skin. We will help you through it as well.
Yeah. I think that's good.
You are going to be our co-highs, and we will take care of you and try to protect you from the
You are gonna be my baby girl. I will love
their
you.
ass if needs to be. I will fucking kill them.
Stand behind me, kitten. I'll take care of this.
I can't believe they're not doing F4M.
You are going to be with all of us who have
I do think it's crazy they're not doing F4F, like, because they have the talent right there. It's free.
experienced all the cyberbullying, all the hate, like, and the most vitriol comments known to man.
There is an untapped target demographic for an openly chaser VTuber. That's just Halloween, but Halloweed's a VTweeter. Get her a model.
We have got you,
She
and
need to get-
please understand that your safety is VAllure's top priority.
Mm-hmm. So
Oh, it's 1
yeah,
o'clock. I'm
just
hungry.
know, like, if you're someone that's very sensitive and you get hurt by one single hate comment, then maybe we aren't the company for you, because you will get a lot of
I think it's good advice.
Do not put yourself through that. If you genuinely are a sensitive person where you're reactive to anything you receive, it ruins your day. It will stop you from making...
I think that's good advice for VTubers in general, not because you should have to live like that. Like, it's fucked up that this is the reality we live in, but, like, this stuff will fuck up your day and your life. And, like, the moment you become popular, this is just, like, your reality now. So I think that's good advice even outside of VAllure. I'm glad that they are, like, proactive about it. I know, like, the meme over here looks really dumb, but, like, it is, like, one strategy, like, just walking away from social media for a little bit. And I'm glad they are proactive about this, and, like, yeah, we can help and support you. I actually think this is a really good thing, because other agencies would just be like, lol, deal with it, and they're like actively like, we're going to help you and give you support and stuff, and we'll protect you, which I think is a pretty good thing. Like, I actually, credit where credit's due, the fact they take this seriously and the talent is like, yeah, we take it seriously, we're going to help you through it, is pretty good. I'm glad they're being upfront, because a more unethical company would not even talk about this. They would just be like, lol, sorry, that's your problem. And like it's pretty good for them to just generally take this mindset.
Content and thrive in.
I mean, it's a business. It's also for business reasons, right? They don't want to like invest in talent that is like, I can't handle this, bye. But also, like, it's just good that they're taking this stance.
Because someone said, I didn't like the way you delivered this line in this one ASMR roleplay. Wrap it up. You are more suited for other companies out there. This is not the company for you.
Okay. I've got my co-op. God damn it. The moment I put my headphones on. Okay.
Sorry.
I got coffee now. It's good.
So you joined VAllure. Now what? Okay, so the split is 80-20, which is freaking amazing, by the way. I come home, when paychecks come out, I'm like, ooh.
Wait, that was one of the girls, right? Wait, hold on a second.
I come home, when paychecks come out, I'm like,
Which one of the girls was that?
ooh. Even after cuts? Nice.
That was one of the girls. Which one burped? Let me follow.
But
Who burped? Wait, I gotta know now.
because it's such a low
I heard burp and I was like, that was not me.
cut, there are many things that are not provided to you that you will have to do on your own as well. The 20% goes to script writing, audio editing, thumbnail making, shorts, and I think
A lot of other background stuff that comes out. Projects
a lot
that
of
will
other
get
background
pulled
a lot of
from the
background
Music
stuff.
videos.
I wonder what their rates are, because 20% is not much, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad for the talent, but I'm curious like what the price is, like what the rates are for script writers and editors and all those things.
And the agency as well also has to make back on what they spent on you in terms of what it costs to get you here.
The talent can burp, gonna apply.
Your model, your design, your assets, your the advertising costs for watch-alongs, promotion via YouTube ads at the start. We did that. There's a lot, and it's 20% that has to stretch between all of that. Just as a note.
Okay. Got it.
Also,
So-
most companies don't actually even provide that for their talents. Like usually,
It's unladylike kind of managed to burp, surprisingly inclusive
I've heard
of
that.
VAllure.
They'll claim
some
to.
corpos.
But
Yeah, okay, but then the talents are like, oh yeah, I make my own thumbnails. Oh, I made my own video. I scripted this. I did this. I edited this short. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, the level of support is pretty good. Like, I will say this is a perk of applying to VAllure.
Dude, what the heck?
I'll even, Strani, can I leak that you used to puppeteer our models for shorts at one point?
So yeah,
That's pretty funny.
well, it's gonna come up later. So yes, absolutely.
Scrawny at first was like offered to puppeteer our models when we didn't quite know how to pilot them yet, and like just mouth over our.
Bad.
I think it's pretty nice. Like, I think that's a good example of the parts of DTL I do like, and why, again, I'm not like anti-DTL. I just like don't like decisions being made on like a corporate level, but like that is another good example of like the level of support she's giving these folks.
Bad. I'm creepy cotton bad.
Burps, but in a cispassing.
Stop.
That's exactly what I was doing.
She's only done that like once or twice for us, but like otherwise, Strani's insane. Anyways, continuing on.
Ideally, oh yeah, sorry. Let
ahead.
me. Is it yeah, okay? Oh, hey, yippee! You
I think honestly, if there's a chaser VTuber, I think this goes without saying, she would obviously be like a trans girl, or it'd be like a cis girl that was like doing it, wink wink, in collaboration with trans girls. You know, like a trans girl be writing the script she does. I would like a cis girl, like I would like a cis girl chaser VTuber that was like that did something in conjunction of like a trans girl. I think that would click. I think you just have to be careful is the only thing. But like a tongue-in-cheek like chaser VTuber, I would sign up for like a tongue-in-cheek one. Not like a legit like real chaser VTuber.
think of this
Aren't chasers generally considered bad though? I mean, yeah, but the idea of like a woman wanting to bounce on it is objectively hot to me, so
as like the fact that like they only take 20%
like wanting
that
to
you're
bounce
fully
on it.
independent. There will be a
I don't mean like a little bit, like wanting to bounce. Boom, 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 bouncing up and down like a lowrider. You know what I'm saying?
assistance from both us and management to help you with like events
Fantasy
and stuff
versus
that you want
IRL.
to pull off. Although the events and stuff may.
So you joined VAllure. What now, my little whore? Well, if you're a beginner content creator and I just couldn't say no to you and I wanted to snatch you up, you need to be basically so open to learning fast
Pussy,
and
pussy,
on your
pussy,
feet.
pussy.
If you're going to constantly resist trying to apply your brain to anything, you're going to be
Halloween
miserable.
VTuber, yeah.
Management's going to be
Oh, I said it. Halloween should be a VTuber. I mean, the asset's already there. Just rip them from Heaven Will Be Mine.
miserable. Your gen mates are going to be miserable because if you're like, I don't want to learn how to do ASMR. I don't want to watch how other ASMR people make videos. I don't want to, like, you're fucking going to wrap it up. Come on. You need to be very open and very willing to learn.
Damn, she's
we
Scottish.
do have you for 2 months pre-debut.
2
You can work
months
on your previous life as much as you
pre-debut.
want during that. But I need you to be open. Seriously, if you're just going to be resistant to learning to do anything yourself, bruh, misery. Absolute misery.
I know she's sounding kind of colloquial, but I do think this is a good tone from her. I think the like you need to kind of put on the big girl pants and get ready is good. Check mark. I like that. I like that she has high expectations. Sign of a good leader that they are disciplining the talent that's new and saying like there are expectations of you that you have to meet. I think this is professional. I like this. I think this is good. I do like the blend, and I've liked this about VAllure. I like the blend that's not, you don't have to be super experienced talent, but you do have to be ready to work if you are new talent. I think that's fair because what they give you in exchange is a lot of views, right? So
at the
yeah, they're only the
pre-debut
professional with the whole
stage,
thing.
so much will be done on your behalf, like scripts, editing on your behalf.
It makes sense to me that DTL is professional about the actual work, but maybe not the running the company part. I mean, like maybe she is behind the scenes and she's just putting on a good face for the audition video. I don't know, but
everything will be timed out
just putting
for
on like
you.
a funny
Shorts
face.
will be made on your behalf. As Shibi said, I piloted a lot of mechs. I pre-wrote an insane amount of scripts for the gang. I pretty much did everyone's shorts. I think everyone got 7 shorts each before pre-debut. I piloted everyone's mechs. I did some editing. I sent away some editing. I did the trailers. I did this. I did that. Management are so hands-on during pre-debut, but if after debut and once I know you've learned, like once management know you know how to do ASMR because you've been exposed to the scripts before, you've been able to kind of catch up some of the streams, because like quite a few of us have done script writing streams live at this point. If you are so resistant to the point where you don't want to do anything without management doing it, that's kind of where we're starting to get to the angle of, are you wanting to succeed and be the content creator, or are you wanting management to be the content creator type thing? Because there's a path you can take, and you know one of them's much more successful than the other one. So yeah, the reins are taken off. So don't think management's gonna be holding your hand through every little tiny detail thing all along the way. If you're
this is just a good expectation. This is what I would expect. I think this is a good tone to take. I think they just want to make it clear that like you got to be ready to step up, which is like, yeah, of course you do.
You're not gonna apply yourself, then please don't apply at all. Sorry to be so blunt, but don't do
it's
it.
okay.
It's good. It's
Don't do
good.
it.
Can we get a round of applause for
me.
Strawny for doing all the work?
Yeah.
And like all that work in the beginning.
Thank you to learn from.
Mercy
So this is how you
needed
get-
help.
so
Literally, Mercy
Scottish.
needed help, and I was like, "There's no other way to send you this than just the raw audio of me going go 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 go."
Oh my god.
That's so
There's
So
real.
I got all the
Amazing.
tips and tricks, everyone. I learned
Yeah,
extremely
you learn-
fast.
You learn a lot, so much when you join in this agency. For me, it was like when I first did ASMR and stuff, it was like I thought I was doing a lot of work already. After joining VAllure, I realized I wasn't.
Gotta work on my
doing
clothing
anything.
again was a fun stream. I got what I needed from the stream. And to me, they actually are transphobic, at least even more than before the stream. Thanks for stopping by, Barugi.
Things that I learned that I had to do for myself and learned
Yeah,
over
it's
time
cringe.
took a lot of like brain power to realize that this was going to be work. So if you do ever join, don't think that it's going to be easy. Don't think that you're just going to get off the hook and let someone else
Yeah,
do the work
I mean, like
for you.
VTubing's hard.
It's not how it's going to go.
Yeah.
You have to figure it out on your own, and sometimes you're going to get confused.
I think something's wrong with Azora's mouth.
Sometimes you might not know what it is that you might have to do on your own, and you might
The tracking's off.
you know, you can always ask any of us.
Hey,
We're here
Donut.
to help you.
Do we not?
You're not purely alone because
Never.
I was a newbie. I think Azura was a newbie. A lot of us were new to this, so we'll help you through it as well.
We're a company that
So is the L word banned on Twitch or something, or is F for F different? No, F for F is just the name. So what you need to understand is a lot of ASMR gets tagged, right? So it's like ASMR, like the way it's because of the tagging system that traditionally has been seen ASMR, especially with Reddit, because Reddit has a lot of adult audios. You'll have like, you know, maybe the name of the audio is like Yandere steals your wife, okay? But like maybe you're a girl as well. So female talent for female listener. But maybe you're a husband to the wife that gets stolen. So it's female for male. Maybe the gender is not specified. It's F4A. Female for female, female for male, female for all. And then it's standard if like content is say specifically for trans women or trans men, it will be F4TF or F4TM, depending on whether it's for trans women, trans females, or trans men, trans males, respectively. F is usually used like both for cis women and just in general. It's a little cringe, but whatever. Good to have you, Coop. We're just going over the VAllure drama.
challenges you, and that's what I appreciate. I remember I asked for feedback on my channel, and one of the questions that stuck out to me the most, because I had been coasting along, just doing streaming, and Strani asked me, what
Yeah, it's just a whole organizational thing, so people can quickly find the tag that they want.
skills do you want?
The term seems to make sense, though. Yeah, it's just like because on Reddit, like someone might be like, I only want like F4M content. So F4M, they'll search on Reddit. Or like, I only want F4F content. Or in my case, what I would do is like, I want F4TF content because I love cis pussy. So
Like,
I love that good cis girl pussy. It drives me crazy. So
you want to pick up? Like, she really put that question
which is why I do so much F4F content.
in my head, and that's why, you know, I put in the effort to talk to Emmy about like, how do I make and edit my own ASMR videos? How can I improve my ASMR? Somebody mentioned in the chat, I did a member stream where we literally just watched other people's ASMR and we learned, and I picked up skills, and my ASMR has improved. So like, we get challenged, we put in the work here.
We stay hungry, we devour.
Aforementioned.
It's about drive, it's about power.
I haven't heard that in forever.
All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty reasons why you might be rejected. Please don't take anything personally. You're on the cusp of success, so there's nothing for VAllure to do to help you further. And let
So VAllure, I guess they pronounce it VAllure. I'm gonna call it VAllure. Has been around for a year. They got announced at the tail end of 2023. Or rather, they had a introductory trailer that really had a lot of buzz because everyone knew that dude that's Lewd was running it. She was open about it. She's Strani over here, green red-haired girl. And the Scottish one, the one I'm like, wow, she's so Scottish, because she is. She's very Scottish. I'm a big fan of Shibi, by the way. I actually like Shibi a lot. I think she's cool. Fuck. I'm like feeling I need to eat food again, but I just like had breakfast and I had a big breakfast. What the fuck? Why is my body like this? I need like 5 Pocari sweats. Yeah. Anyway, but so VAllure's been around for a minute. They had Gen 1 auditions last year. Last year, I just to recap for those of you that don't know, they're coming in late. I was like, I wanted to actually apply. Like, it was like a main goal of mine. So I was like, hey, just making sure, like, before I send an application, do you accept trans talent? And they never got back to me or any of the other trans talent that tried to apply. So I didn't apply. I became an ASMRist partly because I was going to apply to VAllure. And then I was like, well, fuck this, but my ASMR is like popping and I've always wanted to do this, so I'm just gonna do it myself. Fuck you. And I'm sorry, like I'm hitting that point where I'm like, I'm actually tired. They've been around for a little bit. They're doing Gen 2. The auditions are about to open up, and we're going over 2 controversies, which is basically whether they allow trans talent, which is like, yes, but you have to be you have to pass, which sucks. And also that they ban F4F content. We haven't even gotten to that part yet, but we're approaching it. In 11 minutes, we'll get to Q&A time, and they're going to start talking about the F4F content ban.
Elaborate on this a little bit.
I'm sorry. I should say they don't do F4F content. It is kind of an F4F content ban, In my opinion, it kind of is, but other people might call it just like their policy of F4M only. I guess it is like an F4F content ban.
More before Strawny does.
They're relatively new. I like Shibi over here though.
If you have like 100K followers and you're doing amazing, you got like 1 million views on a video, you're constantly ticking upwards, why do you want to join us? What can we do for you? We can't offer anything for you that you haven't already done yourself, and then you would already take 100% of the stuff. So it's like, what can we do?
There's
And then
literally nothing else.
Strawny, why don't you do your little blurb?
No, the
with
reason.
Emmy?
So Emmy, my beloved Emmy, in another life as a little
The one talking right now is the one that runs VAllure.
baby spooter. She actually would qualify for me being like, bruh, we can't do anything for you, you goofy gibberino. However, she did say, she said, look, I kind of want some camaraderie, and that was it. That was the reason why I was like, oh, fuck it. Okay, then. Shit. If that's what you want, you got it. Well, hopefully you got it.
I got
Okay,
it.
hi.
Hi.
She's like, I hate everybody here.
Yes. So now, this is another thing. Now that VAllure has ran for a year, for individuals who may already have previous success but are wanting to come in, there can be a money discussion about, like, this is, you know, statistically, no one will be named, you know how it is, all private and all that, but like, statistically, you can earn this much, and depending on how much you do, you can earn this much. Like, now there's projections. So if you come to me and you're like, hi Strawny, I'm making $2,000 US, I can say, well, statistically you'll be better off at VAllure, but it depends what you do,
May have
type
been
thing. Like,
covered
I can have
already,
serious
but
discussions
will
like
there
that.
be auditions for non-fem women in Gen 3? Will you be looking for M4M or
My next little
M4F?
sentence. Your portfolio is so
Someone like tried to push the question
lacking
by donating
or far too fresh.
about like the F4M for oh, you threw that money away. Bro, you threw that $5 right into the trash.
VAllure needs reassurance that you aren't going to give up in 2 months, as these are large investments made into you. I know Strawny, during my interview, I had said I had 6 months of experience VTubing, and she was like, hold on there.
I would consider an F4F ban as you can only do stuff with the agency for the duration of the time there. I think so. Yeah, like there's nothing outside of it. I'm shocked though. Like I would think that like they would like, why not let the talent do one F4F audio if they wanted to?
What does this mean? This is a little bit far too fresh and funky for me. And I said, well, no, I actually did stream before that for a couple of years as a flesh tuber. And she was like, oh, okay. Because she's like, why do you
There's a
want to do
buffet
this?
in
I
this
only
chat.
streamed 6 months as a VTuber at the time.
VTuber problems. DJ Khaled, another one.
We need reassurance that you aren't going to give up in 2 months. There's so many people.
Another
this
one.
is why like VTubing almost seems like so freaking oversaturated. So many people start and they invest in a model and they do all this stuff and they stream and they're like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
And then they give up and then they leave. And it's like, this also kind
That's fair.
of goes back to if you
Oh, wait.
don't like
Something will
NSFW
change
content,
formats
or if
so
you don't know
early
if you like
on, but I'm
NSFW content
curious
and then you
if you
start
all
and then
would
you
be
join
open to buy
and then you're just like,
creators
wait, I don't think I
slash
like this and I'm not
creators
comfortable,
as
then
well
it's
as
like, why are
F4M.
you
That's the F4F question eventually.
like, don't apply unless you're really
Maybe they're getting ready to send in the Q&A, so they just like jump the gun, but it's so funny.
really sure, you know. Yes.
Don't know, Wald.
Okay. Yes, I only streamed once a week in my PL, but I was a flesh tuber before that.
Flesh.
And I streamed multiple times a week for like a good few months.
Give me flesh.
I hated being a flesh tuber. I spent like
I
an
hate
hour
the
doing my
flesh.
makeup before that every
Give
single
me
stream.
anime
It was awful.
grill.
It's so stressful.
The fantasy of sexy anime girls is ruined for you when you realize most of these girls are wearing their pajamas. Unless you're a lesbian, then it's like really attractive. Most of these girls are wearing like tank tops and pajamas and sweatpants. We're tubing in a nutshell. Where did all my followers go? Oh well, I aided them. Oopsies.
Back in my PL when I was
Oopsie.
I was a
aided you
VTuber,
all.
but I did try flash VTubing. Like I did like
flash.
Flash VTubing. Like
The
I
flesh
had, like,
limits.
2 or 3 streams where like I tried it
You tried it.
when I did ASMR. And I was like, man, this shit is exhausting. Fuck all
This
that.
shit's whack.
So much easier.
The
I
woke
had
mind virus.
I actually had a lot
Nah.
of fun when I was a flesh tuber. I was a flesh tuber for about 4.5 years,
Damn.
and then I like disappeared.
That's the thing
came
about
back
being a VTuber. You don't have to
back
dress up. Yeah.
after like half a year, and then I was like a PNG for the whole majority of the rest of those years. for 6.
6
So
years.
it's like all at now for together 6
Oh,
years streaming.
Okay.
6 years as a PNG tuber.
Oh,
Before
God.
it was even really a thing.
So I was a fleshy. I did like cosplays and I would do ASMR.
Fleshy.
Fleshy is such a
stuff and-
scary way of
Mm.
saying
I know.
that. I was a
Fleshy
fleshy.
skinwalkers.
just a blob of flesh.
IRL
Hot.
streaming.
My VTuber parents often don't wear anything. Well, yeah, sometimes
Like these like little dino
I think I've streamed once or twice without a shirt on because it's been like summer and I got overheated.
gifts, by the way. I can't stop staring at
I'm
them.
staring at them as well.
They're so mesmerizing, aren't they?
I
I was
know.
mesmerized by them. I was
We the
quiet the whole
best.
time because I was
And then
just
Cal-
staring
Yeah.
at them.
They're pretty
Khaled's just
cute.
there. It's lovely.
I put the DJ Khaled meme here because it refers to me. I was
DJ
Yeah, so
Khaled.
if Gaga were on Twitch-
We'll skip ahead a bit.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm gonna pretend I didn't see it. My rejected part 2.
Yeah, flesh tuber.
Just as you have to be fit for VAllure have to
I
be
got
fit
stuff, girl.
for you. Sometimes
Another
it's
point towards me
weird,
potentially VTubing. I can stream with no shirt on this summer. So true.
you wouldn't mesh well.
From the
And
moment
that's
I understood
okay.
the weakness
Both
of my
part-
flesh, it disgusted me. I craved the strength and certainty of digital anime avatars. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine. Your kind cling to your flesh as if it will not decay and fail you. One day the crude biomass you call a temple will wither and you will beg my kind to save you. But I am already saved. For the machine is immortal.
I can't believe that was from Fortnite. Well done, pet.
Parties are being
Spared.
Is GSG Gothsoft Girl's new nickname?
thanks.
Sparred.
Oh wait, did I spell it wrong?
No, you spelled it right, Stronny. You spelled it right.
You spelled it right.
Oh,
You spelled it right.
Red.
I'm just dyslexic. I read it as paired for a minute. But I stopped. My brain stopped
You-
working.
Is it from Warhammer? I don't know. I thought it was from Fork Knife. Can I get a W in the chat for all the foreskin gamers here?
Your perceptions of what
Not the VTubers on the screen. No, they're just the talent. Save for Stronny, who runs it over here. The one who sounds very Scottish. I think I've spent. Oh my god, we got so many foreskin gamers. I feel like I've spent most of the stream saying that girl sounds Scottish. That girl sounds Scottish. That girl sounds Scottish. Dude, that's Scottish.
the
DTS.
agency is going.
The
to
quote
do
about
for
Flesh was
you
from
are too
Cyberpunk
large
2077. I thought it was from Fortnite.
to meet. You are the content creator at the end of the day, not the agency.
Mm.
So don't come in here being like, I would like a 3D debut concert right off the rip. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
You know,
that.
I didn't do that for
Bro,
you.
what? That'd be crazy.
I want a 3D.
None of
Yeah,
us even
yeah.
have 3D yet. What we do is we
Yeah, our stuff
haven't
is
showed it
still being
off yet.
processed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still cooking, okay? Cooking in the
They're
nookin.
cooking. They're cooking, ladies and gentlemen.
Do we have any? Sorry,
not
let
that hard to
me
make a
go
3D
through
Fat
all
pussy
this
stamp
in
of
case we're
rejection.
gonna-
I mean, like, it is, but, like, you just hire somebody. I'm shocked they don't have 3D models yet. Just hire, like, a VRM creator.
talk about it.
Talk about.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was like, oh, how far do we have anything after this? Oh yeah, just that one. I will say that the company will. We stand for ASMR. We stand for voice acting. So if you want VAllure to bend over backwards for you, for example, you're like, no, I don't want to do this, but hire me anyways. That's not gonna happen. I'm so sorry.
If you
That
are
is probably
joining,
gonna be a
wanting to
reason.
be like an idol and sing on a stage and have 3D concerts, you can fund that yourself and you can organize that yourself with the money you make with us. But like, we are not like an idol singing company, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we didn't.
Yeah.
We
Which
didn't
is a perk.
establish ourselves to be like singers.
I want to add, despite the controversy, I think it's pretty cool they did an extensive stream talking about how they run things and actually giving solid audition advice. That isn't anything an agency has really done was really interesting insight. I know you were watching it, Ember. I do agree that I think even though they need a lot of like PR help, because I think they are not transparent enough of like what's they're looking for and like what they're like with like the F4F trans stuff and like just being sensitive on that issue. I do agree that I think this is a good step in the right direction. Like, I was actually pleasantly surprised they even addressed whether trans girls can apply, because I was expecting them to be like, we're not touching this one. I thought the way they touched it was super dismissive, but we had someone earlier in chat, who was it? Barugi, who was very, very like upset with VAllure, and I'm not on the same level. Like, there's stuff I don't like about VAllure, but like I'm gonna say the same thing, which is like maybe not the lolly talent, but like I don't have anything against this talent. And even like on the personal level, like the people behind those characters, I don't have anything against. Like, I actively like some of these girls, okay? Like, I like DTL. Like, I do like her. Like, I want this company to succeed. I just have like problems with how it's run. That's all.
Obviously, singing is like a good.
I think they need guidance too, Coop. I think they just need to hire somebody who does like PR for them and crisis management and communication. They need a proper community manager, you know?
Good skill to have, but like don't join and be like, okay, let's start making an album. Let's start making.
I mean, like, I like Shibi, the one in the middle, the bunny girl. I think she's hot. I like her, and I've like tweeted her, and I do like DTL. Like, I you can crush on them, just don't crush on the lollies, I guess.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it again.
So far from what VAllure
Don't
was created.
sacrifice your corpo dreams
Yeah.
to like and like try to like you just want to be in a corpo, so you're like, oh, I'd rather go with insert corpo here, but you know, VAllure has auditions open, so I'm gonna just join them. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
like,
don't do
you know
that.
what's right for you? And
You'll
like,
make yourself miserable. doing
yeah,
that as well.
yeah. It's like, do what you
miserable.
really want, you know.
Next. Oh, I see.
Okay, so now.
Okay, here we go. The F4M
Okay,
one's coming
it's going to
soon.
be Q&A time. Send your question through the YouTube chat Q&A window.
Scotland mentioned. Do you think VAllure is just like a public relations campaign for Scotland? Like, they're trying to make Scottish people seem more lewd than they really are? I mean, I guess some people like the kill. They think it's kind of sexy.
Right,
On your
like
screen.
I mean, I want to support Scotland now, so maybe I've been programmed. You've been programmed by a Scot.
Correct. I don't know
okay.
the question. What?
you guys can't see questions, can you? Like right now?
What question?
Personally, I think
Okay.
that being strongly dismissive of trans issues is willful participation in transphobia, and their men and women's spaces side is more of unwilling participation in trans misogyny. I agree. Scottish mind control. Hey, sup. Listen, I don't need to be hypnotized to support that.
Okay.
Well, you have the Q&A
Fucking
thing open.
Okay, so
You don't. Yeah, you have the.
Yes, but
I
I
don't
want to
see
show
anything.
like you guys the questions too. Let me share my screen for that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Alright.
you gotta switch that.
I think I have to share my OBS.
Ooh, the abyss.
Stop sharing, or can I just change?
Share the YouTube thingamabobble?
YouTube.
I see it in OBS.
YouTube.
Here, you guys can look at my OBS screen. Do you see them?
Oh wow.
Can you look at my
yes.
OBS?
Okay.
You will.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it. I see
Barely.
it.
It's really fucking small.
That's what she said?
I don't know how to make
No,
it bigger.
I can make
I
that.
can barely see it. It's fucking tiny.
I'm gay.
I could see it fine.
Oh, that was a
I'm
bad
gay.
idea. Sorry.
Yeah, I liked it where it was before.
Go
Okay,
back,
is that
go
good?
back to
Is
where
that
it
good?
was before.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
put it
that's
in
fine.
a full screen. I see.
It is.
We'll do it live.
Stream.
What? Who's up? Oh,
there is.
Should I open it in YouTube? Would that be bigger?
Eat the food.
Okay, I see it better now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll just lean in with glasses.
Yeah, I'm putting mine on.
Hold on,
I've
let me
had
put
mine
on my
on. I'm
glasses.
freaking blind.
Real.
But I'm curious if you'd be open to doing content that isn't specifically female for male. At this point in time, the answer is just straight up no. VAllure is based on a previous established method that worked fantastically, and I want to ensure the success of anyone who is willing to take the risk to join under me, and join under the company and share the vision that is kind of, you know, what VAllure is going for. So at this point in time, no, it will always be female for male content, and I can't see that changing at this point in time. Thank you for your question.
Okay, so now why Stronny makes this decision, I understand, because I understand. I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna break it down for all of you to give you a bit of insight. I used to be an editorial strategist working with strategic content creation and policies in media, right? And so I know a lot about why you create the media that you do, the content that you do, and why you focus and double down on it. And I also understand why she's making the decisions that she does, because one of the best strategic content focuses is finding something that works well, finding something that has majority popularity, that gets a lot of clicks, views, and gets you money, and just continuing to do it. I think Stronny's opinion and feeling is this. This is a very risky venture. We have found in the past that what I did at other agencies or what I did prior with my work is successful. So I'm going to take a strategy that I know is successful, teach other people how to do that strategy, become the manager for these individuals, literally manage their approach, and teach them a successful strategy. And we're not going to deviate from the strategy, because the more we deviate from the strategy, the less stable things get and the more risky things get. And this is a risky venture, and I don't want to rock the boat. I don't know how F4F would perform. So I understand that opinion. I still think it's bad. I think it's bad for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is a stagnating approach. Yes, F4M is popular, right? No doubt. But it works off the assumption that F4F content is naturally simply not going to make a lot of money or lead to a conversion over time. I have seen, even on VT, there is an interest in lesbian VAllure members. People want a lesbian VAllure model. They want a lesbian VAllure idol, you know? The other thing, too, as well, is that F4F as a content approach, you need to understand that F4F, while it is technically a little more niche, it still is very popular with men. It's not like the moment a VAllure model makes an F4F audio that people are going to unsubscribe. Because for a lot of people, F4F has the same appeal as watching lesbian porn. And men like watching lesbian porn because they like watching women interact with each other. You will see a lot of the time on YouTube, if you ask an F4F performer to show the gender demographics for their videos, it is like 10% female, 90% male for F4F. Most of my viewers on my F4F content are men. Most of the people that enjoy my F4F content actually are men. Most of the people in my community are not. That's different. Most of the people that engage with me, that are in my Discord, that give me money, are women. I am mostly buying for queer women. It's usually queer women that like my content and engage with me and give me money. My biggest patrons are often men, like the people that give a lot of money, but that just comes down to the issue of the wage gap and stuff like that, and just those men having expendable income. That's it. It's nothing else. With F4F, it's not as if the moment you do F4F, you're cooked. You need to understand, people are there for the model doing sexy things, so they want lesbian content. Now, I'm sure that DTL knows that there is sometimes a drop in views or money for certain F4F content. I'm sure that she's making this decision from somewhat of an informed standpoint. I still think it's an incorrect decision, however, because it insists, first of all, that the most important thing to do is to go through the stagnant process of what has always been done. And second of all it takes is a company doing a mixture of F4M and F4F with better resources to give serious competition to VAllure if it's better funded. And I don't think it's going to be that long until adult companies start creating their own Lewdtuber agencies. I 100% think adult companies are looking at VAllure and they're saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to hire some good talent that can make some great Lewdtubers. We're going to do what they're doing with more money, and we're going to blow them out of the water. I think that's what's happening. I understand what DTL is doing, what Stronny is doing, is sort of like what Gamers was doing with Dottie Sports and the Mary Sue, okay? They said, we need raw numbers. What do we do to get raw numbers? We do SEO content. SEO content is really good because it does well on Google. That's great. What happens the moment that the industry starts to shift? If you are putting all of your eggs in F4M and suddenly something happens, like a better competitor shows up, or there are better talent elsewhere, or someone is doing F4M even better, then you are kind of fucked. This is why people do more than just F4M, okay? Because they know they need to diversify. They need to do a wide assortment of things. I do a wide assortment of audio genders, even though I mostly am F4F or trying to be queer inclusive. You know why? Because I understand that I can't just do one thing. I do need to be creating content for a wide assortment of audiences. So I think doubling down on F4M is not wise, because all it takes is a better creator doing F4M content to pull people away, especially in the current economic circumstances. So I think one tricking on just one format is very dangerous, because all it takes is a better funded company with better funded resources and more focused talent, like more focused resources with their talent in order to give a proper run for the money. Like imagine VAllure, but instead of it being like a mixture of experienced and only slightly experienced talent, it's just all experienced Lewdtubers. That it's just going to be very different. The other thing is, it's important to remember when you look at the numbers that F4F content is not unpopular with women, period. On YouTube, yeah, of course, yeah, you mostly see men listen. And I have no doubt that lesbian subreddits do have a lot of men on those subreddits. But I'll give you a really good example, okay? I'm going to go through Gone Wild Audio, the statistics for Gone Wild Audio versus Gone Wild Audio Sapphic, okay? So there are 1.8 million members on Gone Wild Audio, created in 2012. Created in 2020, in just 5 years, there is 137,000 members in Gone Wild Audio Sapphic. So just in the course of 5 years, Gone Wild Audio Sapphic has hit what? Like, let's see. 1.8 million divided by 173,000. Wait, I did this wrong. Hold on a second. I'm not good with math. It's gotten approximately 8% of Gone Wild Audio in just 5 years. That's pretty crazy. If you look at the top posts for Gone Wild Audio Sapphic in terms of upvotes versus the top posts in terms of Gone Wild Audio, what you'll see is this. The greatest, most upvoted post on GWA Sapphic has 3,600 upvotes, whereas the greatest upvoted post in all of Gone Wild Audio history is 19,000. Then it's 18,000 for Gone Wild Audio and a couple around the 18 to 14K area versus Gone Wild Audio Sapphic 3.6, 3.3, 3K, 2.8K. That does tell me that Gone Wild Audio Sapphic is nicher, but it's still very popular. So why not get into that niche is what it's telling me. Especially when we look at the YouTube data and know that men who listen to F4M are most likely still listening to F4F as well. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, DTL is looking at these numbers and these statistics and she's saying, look, where would I rather be? Gone Wild Audio or GWA Sapphic? Gone Wild Audio. Yeah, of course. That's why I also do F4M content. Like, I still do stuff for guys or make things like inclusive for guys by doing F4A. But there is still a significant portion of people who are looking for GWA Sapphic material because they are queer women. There is a sizable portion of the ASMR market that are queer women, and you better believe a lot of those people on GWA Sapphic are there because they're also on Gone Wild Audio. Let's assume everyone at GWA Sapphic was also on Gone Wild Audio. It's very likely that's about like 8 to 10% of Gone Wild Audio, probably closer to double digits percentages, 10, 12 more, when you consider the fact that like Gone Wild Audio has a significant portion of people who are queer women but don't know that GWA Sapphic exists. So it's important to remember that it's not like F4F and like F4A in general, which often is also enjoyed by queer women. Like, it's F4A for a reason. It's for all genders. It's important to remember that that content is not like super niche and only like 20 people listen. Like, it's extremely popular. And also, a lot of the F4M audience will still listen to F4F. Now, I think it'd be different if, like, suddenly, you know, like, VAllure's, like, I wouldn't expect VAllure to only make lesbian content, right? But the policy of we are not doing F4F is a little crazy because it's a very popular niche. It's like deciding that not enough people are into hypnosis content, so they're never going to touch hypnosis content. It just doesn't make sense. I think, at the bare minimum, they should have an F4F VTuber. It doesn't make sense not to. I would understand if they took the look at the budget and they said it doesn't make sense resource-wise. This person's not making enough money. Like, I understand. But for Christ's sake, they have a lolicon. They have 2 of them. They have a bondage girl, 2 lollies, someone that's like kind of hypno-coded, and they were like, no, we can't do F4F though. That's too niche. Like, what? What? It doesn't make any sense. And I do think, again, this comes back to the original issue of like, you should sound like a woman, because they're trying to reach like the greatest common denominator of people. They know that like VT folks and like Twitter folks, there's a lot of men, and they want to make sure men feel like catered to. But like at some point, you're leaving money on the table. It is an oversaturated market, and you find a very high risk that you will be competing against someone who inevitably does all the things you do better. This is why, as a content strategist in the journalism world, I'm a very big advocate of the readership model and the talent model and the opinion-oriented model, where you have individuals creating content that people are interested in. You know, I can't talk specifics about data, but let me just say, when Yahtzee would publish something on The Escapist, it would do fucking numbers for the whole network at Gamers, okay? That's a talent-oriented model, because he had an established brand that performed really, really, really well, and there is no such thing as everyone getting their own Yahtzee. He was Yahtzee. He could do his own thing. And the fact he went over with Second Wind is a big fucking deal for Second Wind. In the same way, just doubling down on F4M without creating like a specific VTuber or a specific focus beyond F4M is just kind of setting yourself up to compete in an oversaturated market without anything specifically appealing beyond, hey, we're the Lewdtuber Corporation, which is great because like they're the only one right now, but people are gonna steal this idea. Like it's gonna happen. Like there's a lot of money in lewd content. Like it's just eventually gonna happen. Oh, we make like 3K a month. Some of us make 12K on a good month. Hello? Knock, knock, knock. Person with a lot of money who wants to do this model, but with more resources. Yeah, I'm listening. Like, you see what I mean? So they need to be branching out. Otherwise, someone else who's got an F4M focus, but just has more polished talent, more resources, you know, maybe fix up issues like, you know, say like Azora over here is having some lip issues over here, get the 3D models ahead of time, do those fancy events they said that they can't fund right away. That company is going to come in and be like really sharp competition to these guys. I'm positive of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Lewdtuber agency in a year. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think it's wise. A second lolly has hit VAllure. They've got someone Scottish and said F4F is too niche. It really makes you think. They've got two lollies. That's what the blue and the orange girl are. They're lollies.
I think one can extend your argument with F4M to one's whole character. These VTubers just fill the generic quirky girl mold, and I'm biased here. BC Anna is the only VTuber I watch as she's actually interesting to listen to, but I'm not going to remember any of them tomorrow. Really just aiming for the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, I think that's important to note. Like, I think with a lot of these girls, some of their designs, like I do think like Strawny's design like stands out, and not just because she's Scottish, but like, you know, like I remember Skitty Cat more than any of them, and it's honestly because Skitty Cat is very good at what she does and very distinct. And when I listen to some of these girls, some of the talent is very good. Like again, I like Sherry. I think she's great. But there's other talent here. Like I like the Scissor Girl, which I feel really bad on blocking her, but she says so I feel like that is a risk for her. And why isn't she a lesbian? She's literally scissors. Why isn't she a lesbian? Bless me. And I think some of the talent is really smooth and really well trained, and others not so much. And it just like leaves me to think like, you know, I feel so bad for her because she's the most say-so of the group, and I'm like blocking her. Like, I think it really like proves the point. I don't know how popular she is. I'd have to look at money, but I feel like, yeah, it's just like I do think naivety is right. I mean, like, I'm a succubus. There's a lot of succubi VTubers, but I do bring some things to the table other people don't, like the prior journalistic experience, like a very strong passion, a specific content niche, like, you know, trying to be a trans voice actor. Most of all, the Fudanari content. My Fudanari content on Orange Site does numbers. Like, some of that stuff. I mean, let me look at my most popular video on there. Because I've been talking about this privately. I've been like, well, when you look at the raw numbers, like a lot of these performers on YouTube, their performance is still not going to be quite as good. Like, what I've said is, like, their performance would... they're leaving a lot on the table by not having trans talent, because trans talent could do Fudanari content. It would be more insensitive if they did cis talent that did that. Like, my Fudanari content does like 15K, 12.4K on Pornhub, you know? My highest performing PH vid is a monster girl pegging video. Yeah, exactly. Say so is pure, non-lewd. Yeah. So it's very like they're leaving money on the table pretty significantly. And I think by leaving the money pretty significantly on the table by not bringing on a direct content focus for these things other than just the generic F4M focus, there's a certain level to which they're setting themselves up to diminishing returns over time. I think in a lot of ways they really benefit from being like the Lewdtuber agency now, but it reminds me of the common like sex worker flush with cash problem, where it's like when you first start as a sex worker, you make a lot of money your start, and then you diminish because people get used to you. And I think this is a risk VAllure takes on as they become more well known as just simply the Lewdtuber agency. They will have to diversify. That is my content read. Now, I have not been doing ASMR as long as DTL. And again, I do think that DTL has a good strategic mindset. She's very popular for a reason. She knows what she's doing. But I do think she is setting herself up for larger struggles down the road as, again, as I've said, other companies come in and simply do what VAllure is doing with more money. That's it. You know, someone comes in with more money and a more aggressive advertising push, and it's going to be hard for VAllure to compete. VAllure is very indie still as far as corporations go. Someone else is going to come snag that money right up eventually. Exactly. Just doing F4M only as a creator would get boring after a while too. I agree. I think that's another thing too. It's just not very interesting. Like, it's the same thing over and over. I love writing it because F4M is like very straightforward. It's like, you know, like pull guide pant down, do the thingy, coom, done. It's like such an easy paycheck. But it does get very boring to perform.
Is VAllure open to multi-streaming on multiple platforms, Twitch, Kick, etc.? No. Wait, you're a man! Stop asking questions!
No, well, that's still a good question.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
I know that person is not applying, so
Okay,
I think they're just asking for brevity's sake.
Before
I don't know about that we only work on YouTube thing. I think that's... Why?
joining VAllure, if you upload 1 or 2 videos a month or none due to an editor issue, will that be cause for rejection? If you have a few videos out, that's good. Like, that's good, you know, that's good, what's it called?
Yeah, I think what VAllure offers right now is partly the novelty of this existing, and that's going to become harder for them as, like, imagine if Skitty Cat did this. That would be it would be very hard to compete against that.
Experience, you know. Don't be too worried about like, oh, I haven't been consistently uploading once a week, they're gonna reject me because I haven't been consistently uploading once a week. Like,
I remember that with Immy. Yeah, I think it's very risky. I don't think YouTube is a good place for ASMR. I wonder why they've chosen YouTube specifically. Maybe because they know they can make more money that way through super chats and stuff, but it seems very risky.
Have content out that you've been putting content out for like a good amount of time, and you have like a little, at least a little backlog. That's something, you know. That's something for them to see. Like,
and it's literally one simple.
That doesn't seem wise. Why not upload to many places?
Stage. Just like, hey, we noticed you had some content up. However, there wasn't much consistency.
One second.
It's just simple as being like, you know, the program fucking shat itself, or you had an editor and they fucked off and never helped you out type thing. Like, it's as simple as that. So don't overthink too much.
Yeah.
Cotton bum.
Let's see. How about that? If your current ASMR, the other one now. If your current ASMR career panders to a certain niche, such as a lollipop or mommy, will that affect a higher chance of being picked? Now, if you apply, you will be able to pick the silhouette. The code names are now out on the website. There's metals, brands, guns, tails,
bows,
and bows. The format of VAllure is 2 lollipops, 2 regular schmegular, and 2
regular
milfs,
schmegular.
Essentially is what kind of body types we're going for.
2 milfs.
If you choose, you can do multiple choice this time around when you apply. If you, however, select the...
So their focus is YouTube, Patreon, and Fansly? I don't understand why they aren't on other sites. That to me is a red flag. I would want to be on PH, right? And orange sites. I don't, because you get a lot more exposure that way. Maybe not a red flag, maybe a yellow flag, but you get more exposure if you're on those sites. So do they have like a deal with YouTube? I'm not. It doesn't make sense.
box.
Why is Lolly real? I assume they're just short. No. Imagine only using YouTube, you could get banned. Imagine getting banned from YouTube. Is there anyone here who has been banned from YouTube? I don't know. Working on. That's how DTL got successful. That's really it. And YouTube does have great audience reach. It does, but it's like it's another great example though of like, don't just copy what previously worked for you, because like YouTube is increasingly clamping down on ASMR. Like DTL like runs the risk of like her whole company falling apart if ASMR just gets virtually banned. Like she has to start from scratch. You know, like they're gonna lose so much money.
Or select them all. It makes it much easier for management to place you on someone, because if you're like, I'm only interested in VAllure if I get this outline, then yes, that will affect your chances, because if someone came along and it's like, nope, that's them, and you're just not interested in anyone else.
I think in general, if you're like a AV VTuber, like you should be on more sites than YouTube. Like it's just common sense, you know? I also run my own website for that reason, because if I get banned from a platform, at least you can know, like, this is like the full database of my stuff. And you can listen to like previews and find out where to listen to it on blue sites and stuff. This is also why I want to do the third-party chat system, because if I get banned from something, like if, God forbid, I got banned from Twitch, you could just go to like my live page. Oh, I'm streaming from like X place now. It's all good, you know?
Then yes, it will affect.
Vana, hello. Hi.
However,
We're talking about VAllure.
it won't affect any other type of thing, because you can be placed in a different body type. So, for example, Shibi, if
I'm sad. I like
you,
some of her voice
I
stuff
was
too.
gonna say that, actually.
Shibi was a little squishy, adorable thing, and she gave me a sample of 5 different voices, and I said, I want you on Shibi, and I got her on Shibi, and I got what I wanted type thing. So even if
Hello,
you're like,
Shibi.
I only want to be like this, don't think I won't mix and match you around.
Mix and match
And
It's
around.
also kind of nice because you like. I was always like a lollytuber, and then I played my mommy role, and I feel like I flourished a lot in this sort of role as well, and I learned more stuff about myself. So you'd be surprised.
Not
You'd be surprised.
I was never
lollytuber.
a lollytuber. I was just a normie.
No.
And no, she's regular schmegular.
I was a
Regular
schmegular. I
schmegular.
was just the average guy. I mean, girl.
Lolly.
Yeah, your voice changer really up to got a good one.
Why?
Wait, I think that kind of ties in with will VAllure consider the model preferences of the potential candidates? You don't. Again, everything's pre-made. Strawny is picking up based off of your voice, if you'd be a good fit, and also like how you guys would meld with us. What are you looking for, Strawny? What are you looking for? You know.
Cool.
So on Gen 1's experience, not everyone was voice casted. A voice example is what we predict what the model may sound like, but it doesn't always follow through. Icy, for example, was supposed to sound like Rebecca from Cyberpunk, and actually I think we did her quite well. Azura, you
Not
were
my
an
cat food.
instant. I love your cat food dispenser so much. I love it so much. So Azura, for example, when I heard her voice during the interview, her introduction video, she was instantly given Azura typecasted. We did not have a example voice for her model, but it really is just
Pointlessly restrictive requirements for enrollment. Like if you have a distinct character onto whom you enjoy projecting yourself, you wouldn't want to ditch that for
A dice
VTuber 1
roll.
pink hair, yeah.
sometimes that you'll fit, and that's just how it is. That's life.
Oh, Vana, I
so
forgot to answer. So VAllure, the Lewdtuber agency, finally, after like a year and change of people asking, confirmed that they do accept trans models, but they want them to be like basically cis-passing in voice. And also, they are not open to F4F. They have a model of only F4M content. They do not do lesbian content. So we're looking at their full audition audio to get or stream to get additional context. We're analyzing it, and we're like digging into it a little bit more, because I kind of wanted to give advice to Lewdtubers and AVTubers who wanted to apply, and also I wanted to kind of like stop, because I was the original one that like flagged all this on Blue Sky. I wanted to like dig into the controversy a little bit more and kind of get the rumors out of the way. 0% F4F, 33% Lolicon is wild.
Don't be the reason you're holding yourself back from applying, because you never know. Like, I don't know
She's
if
so
Azura,
Scottish.
you maybe want to talk about
Dude, that's
your
Scottish.
experience a bit more in terms of, did you expect to get in? Did you
Yeah, I could
like?
talk about that.
She's, they're
I honestly did not
33% Scottish or whatever. What's 1 divided by 6?
Out of all the girls that did their applications and stuff when they applied to get in, I feel like I was the least, like, super, like, into my application, because I truly thought I wouldn't get in, but I still gave it my all.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
I felt that, so yeah.
Yeah.
Might have to scroll up a little bit.
We're looking through all the grooming comments.
Or a talent's expected to leave their 9 to 5 to be available. Retain your 9 to 5.
The grooming comments. lads.
Hi, is it viable to
DomTuber, HypnoTuber, 2 LollyTubers, 0 girls.
retain your 9 to 5 until you can earn enough money
Yuri, once again, the most oppressed gender.
through VAllure, or a talent's expected to leave their 9 to 5 to be available all the time? So for me personally, I did work a 9 to 5. I worked, 40 hours by
Yeah, she left full-time, somewhat, like a full-time job to become a full-time VTuber somewhat recently.
weekly, all the whole jazz, even more. I literally, within like a month or two, I was able to quit my job and go. So the minimum amount streaming is 3 times a week, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
2 hours, 3 times.
Yeah,
a week.
2 hours, 3 times a week.
PT girls.
So, and like, I feel like Shawnee's pretty flexible and understanding with that sort of thing. So, like, I feel like you shouldn't worry, because we're gonna try our utmost to get you to leave your job and
Yeah,
work and
basically.
become a streamer full time. Like, that is literally like Shawnee's dream. Like,
Average of 3,300 a month. So let me just break this down for everyone. Google, show me my calculator. 3,300 times 12. You're going to be making about 40,000 with them. Just like on average, you might make more a month. But then you have to remember about 33%. I'm assuming, let's see. I'm not sure if they said that was the takeaway or just like the average month income overall. But assuming that like you're contracted and you're not working full time, you don't have health insurance, you're going to be losing like 13,000 of that to taxes, give or take, about that much. I would say that making 40K from a VTubing agency on average is not bad, but I think you could do a little better. Here's how I feel, okay? We are getting to the end of the stream, so I'll leave the final spiel later, but I think in terms of the money amount, you will live decently, but you might do better if you full-time and do all this on top of it. 4 ASMRs a month, 3 streams a week is very doable working a normal full-time job. I'm just going to leave it like that.
Like, that's what she would constantly talk about. Like, I can't wait for you guys to
Let me just break this down for
leave your
everyone.
job, get your own apartment, blah, 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 blah. And so, like, we will all help you do that. So,
Yeah, she's
We will help you
extremely
do that.
flexible with that, given how I'm always sick. I get sick quite often.
Who's up being sick?
I think she's mentioned
Sick Girl
the-
Company.
The
Disabled
me,
Girl
but the
Company. Most VTubers are.
doctor's no thing.
Oh, I was shocked at that. Am I allowed to speak a bit more on it?
Yeah, you can.
So Azura tells me, she's like, I can't really hold down a job for too long, and I'm like, oh, what do you mean? She's like, oh, just I'm constantly sick, and do I need to give you a doctor's note when I'm sick? I'm like, a doctor's note? No, what?
Yeah,
You
this
do
is
not
a
have
good.
to get a doctor's note. Like, dear VAllure,
This is a pretty good example of the kind of where the talent is at. Like, they haven't had like maybe been in a climate like this before, where it's like, if you have to ask your boss if they need a doctor's note, you know. I pretended to be sick all the time at Gamers because I was like feeling too anxious to come into work, or just I didn't feel like working that day.
I am.
I would never do that at any other job. I just fucking hated that work environment. It was so awful. Like, it was such a draining, depressing work environment. So I'd be like, yo, I'm out. Yeah, I'm so sick, bro. Later, bye.
The doctor of Azura Dooley, she is sick. She cannot stream right now. Like, no, what? You don't need to do that at all. That's so inhumane as well while I'm at it. And another thing I'd like to complain about society at large. But no, you do not have to do doctor's notes or nothing of a sort.
Yippee!
It's not enforced.
I see a good question. If an NSFW VA with previous engagements applied, what's engagements, like work? And they had a history with quote-unquote problematic content, lolly show, non-con, for example, would they not be able to be accepted to VAllure? Guys, check out my NSFW Twitter and then come back.
Yep. Yeah. Check out our Twitter. Check out our tag.
You're
Our
fine.
Damn,
tag
they're really
streams,
pro
our
lolly,
tag
huh?
Your streams. You're fine. Yeah.
We're
fucking degenerates.
Don't overthink.
They're really pro lolly, aren't they? God damn. Okay.
Someone said how kinky is too kinky if it's too niche. I do a lot of kinky stuff. I don't know if it's too niche. Don't worry, it's not too niche.
Don't worry, it is not too
It's not too
You know
niche.
what? If you like
gave the
scat, I'll think
example
you're
of
weird, but I'll be
Bro.
like, whatever. You're not hurting nobody, So like,
one thing.
Controversial. We love lolicon, but F for F is too much. Someone asked so VA asked or someone asked if a VA did CNC lolicon Shota, is that too much? And they're like, go check out the one lolicon VTubers NSFW page. So yeah, they're pretty comfortable with the lolicon stuff. Yeah, I mean they got the lolicons right next to each other, and they're some of the most popular in the whole group. So
One thing, and I personally am
maybe this is why they're not on Twitch, because I'm pretty sure Twitch would not be cool with this.
very strong.
No
on
matter
this
how
stance.
problematic you
They will do anything if it's popular enough, unless it's F for F.
think you already are, it's not problematic. It's not too
Yeah.
problematic.
just don't be
worry.
racist.
Just don't be racist.
Well, that's
Just don't be
Yeah,
racist, bro.
Just don't be racist. Don't be.
Yeah.
I beg findom using terms like pay piggies, etc. This is not for me, and I don't like it personally, and I don't think this is the company for you in any way, shape, or form.
No
If
NTR
you
VTubers.
are into
That
this.
too. Yeah.
No NTR.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, they're anti-pay pig? Dude, I love Findom. It's so based. Wait, so Lolicon's fine, but you can't be a Findom? What? Crazy that perving on characters look like children is more profitable than FVF. I don't think it even is. I think FVF is fine. They just I think she's just nervous about the risk. Wait, did they say yes to pay pigs?
Definitely piggy.
Just don't be
Problematic,
racist.
Just don't be racist.
Well, that's
Just don't be
Yeah,
fucking
like-
racist, bro.
Just don't be racist. Don't be.
Yeah.
I beg findom using terms like pay piggies, etc. This is not for me, and I don't like it personally, and I don't think this is the company for you in any way, shape, or form.
No
If
NTR
you
VTubers.
are into
That
this.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, she said no pay piggies. No NTR is crazy. NTR is so based.
No NTR.
Yeah.
No.
Why no NTR? I know it's controversial, but okay, lollies are okay, but if I cheat on my partner, I'm cooked.
NTR.
Do you think some of this hesitancy is about some of the political nonsense going on right now? I was the one who asked this question, by the way. You're fucking based, Ember. That's so funny. I think I don't really think so. Nah. I think it's just personal preference.
Enjoyers get the rope. Can I say that?
Yeah, it's just cucking with extra steps. Wait, what?
NTR enjoyers get the rope. Can I say that?
Fucking hell.
Bro, no way. Why? I like you, Shibi. Why? That's such a dumb. Ugh. They hate filling niches. We're focused on what's profitable and popular, but none of that fetish shit. For paying us money, that's no
I
good.
think they serve a different niche.
Yeah, they serve a
There are
different
niche
niche.
that
They serve a
people are
different
not
niche that-
interested in.
that we
fulfilling.
cannot cater to. That we cannot help you with.
War is literally
Yeah.
my thing, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, Azure eats people constantly.
Yeah.
Azora confirmed VTuber.
She always threatens
When are we gonna have her on the stream?
to eat me.
Gore? No, gore's not too much. I'm
No.
freaking I love Aragorn. Anyways, let me just
Okay,
shut the
thank you,
fuck up.
Shibi. I love you again. I would collab with Azora and Shibi, and I honestly would collab with DTL too. And the Scissors Girl. I don't even know her name. I just won with the lollies.
We all have our own
Azora does do vor stuff. That's so
things
base.
that we are into, or like it's you just be what
I
you
see
like,
a lot of
you know?
questions about like what qualifies as not safe for work content. Strawny, would
Cool.
you?
Coom does.
So this does degree and vary. It can be things like if you did like photos, for example, you sold photos, you did private content.
gonna skip
such
this.
as
I think they kind of did a good job of already clarifying this.
the best that to make the jump from doing basic to the blue site, as we call it as well. Again, we do not.
The
want
rules are very inconsistent. I don't understand. Like, they don't like NTR. Lolicon is fine. Arrow Girl is fine, but God forbid you cuck. Like, no findoms. What? The NTR hate is definitely connected with the current political climate. Like, it's beta to even think about that as a fantasy fucking. I don't think so. I think it's just like anime fans have really strong opinions in general about NTR. And I mean, like, some of that is political, but not all of it, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's too bad end for me. It's hanging. It has a very South rising end. Get the rope is very 4chan talk. It's like not. I would not say like so and so gets the rope. I mean, like, I see leftists and like socialists use it, but I would not use it. Like, I just, when I hear so and so gets the rope, I automatically think like 4chan and pull. You know, I just wouldn't use it. I don't think she's dog whistling. I think it's just like she's using language from like a space that's like, it's like if I ran around and said lol cow all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I obviously am not a Kiwi Farms user, but if I said lol cow all the time, you would start to think I was a Kiwi Farms user. You know what I mean? It does seem very like we know you are right-leaning anime pervs and we'll cater to you. I think it's sort of like they know their fans are they have a lot of like right-leaning 4chan fans, and so they're a little bit like, yeah, we don't mind. We even like you. It's, you know, so I think they're like walking a tightrope that can end very badly for all of them, because like once you cater to that group, they kind of hold you hostage. Like, I think they would probably be like, they would have addressed the trans girl question sooner if, like, you know, they weren't held hostage by that group. Because I don't think this girl over here is like a bigot. I just think like she makes decisions where she is like forced to be held hostage to a community that would like shit its pants if they found out that like F4F was going to be catered to. Not the gay girls, not the woke, not the trannies. You know, it's just like, yeah. It's the whole thing about a bar turning into a Nazi bar. Yeah. When you're in just so alpha that you send death threats to people who partake in sexual fantasy that you see as beta shit, it does seem like when you like one fascist into your bar situation. I think that's the problem. I think also like this mindset of like we are kind of okay with 4chan. Like, I mean, I would not have a problem with that if it was like 2005. You know, like 2005 4chan was very different. But this kind of mindset now where it's like, yeah, we fuck with you, VT. We hear you. We listen to you. Like, this is going to blow up in their face. When another Lewdtuber agency comes in that just is like less immersed in that climate, you know, that just is like has more professionalism, but really good talent.
Be the reason you're converting to this. We want full, like, what's the word? Full valid kind of, like, it's not us who did it. It was you. It was fully your consensual choice type thing. That's
If you like it, then do it. If you don't like it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Many people are saying this.
My qualifications for being in with certain Lord knows company for you.
If someone's voice doesn't match what you're looking for, would they be automatically rejected, or would they still be considered based on their history and portfolio?
This one doesn't. You
It's
wouldn't
like-
be rejected just because your voice wouldn't fit. Because again, if you told me everyone here would sound how they sound here, the answer is no. Like, it wasn't gonna happen.
Like they
type thing.
don't have like a very specific idea of what you must
No,
sound
no.
like. We are looking for someone
No,
with
no.
a British accent for this character, and we will not hire
They have to
anyone
be
that
from
doesn't
this
have a British
region.
accent.
They have to talk with
Yeah.
this inflection.
Yeah,
Okay, you have to sound like a woman, but it doesn't matter what kind. Oh my god.
like they must have a voice that is A minor or less. I don't know.
Okay, but they're literally saying that of trans women. They're like, Oh yeah, for the character it doesn't matter, but you best be sounding like a cis girl.
A minor.
That's crazy.
A minor. Sorry.
No. You can't be making that joke when you have these two hanging out over there. You can't be making that joke. You can't be making that joke. You can't. No, Kendrick Lamar would hate you. Like, objectively speaking, Kendrick Lamar would not be putting up with this. I'm a cis guy, so I don't know, but I know I don't like joining groups with no black people. Is Azora black? I don't know. Would you want to be the one trans girl in this group? No. I mean, I'm not applying for a very specific reason because this would be such a bad fit for me. Like, I could theoretically apply again. There's no way. No F for F content. Like, I would have to have super duper passing trans girl voice. By the way, Anna, will you ever do a F for F Cuck Queen audio? Like, I'm not interested in anything. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I wouldn't apply for this. Like, I would not. Like, do you know what kind of audience I'd have to deal with? It would be awful. I think they would look at me and they'd say, like, you're talented, but you don't sound enough like a girl, and you hate us, and also we know that, like, you're going to be hated immediately by, like, our audience because you're Anna Valens. Like, sorry, but we can't put lipstick on the proverbial pig, you know? Did I just call myself a pig? Oink, oink. Oink, oink.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the ambiguity of, oh, you can sound like anyone must be a woman really throws me. What happened to ethical gooning? Remember when ethical porn was a thing? Honestly, it sounds like the community that makes this get melon. Be so many people would have to handle. Dude, my moms would be cooked.
they don't have like super specific ideas, and if you don't fit into something super specific, yeah, it's very generic.
How long will the audition video requirement be? It's asked for 5 minutes.
I think I really tried to remove
Streamers / will stay beyond the year contract, or is it like just the year and then if you do not want to stay longer,
possible you to grow and be so
you're a part of our
like
family.
it's not a thing.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
I like getting scolded.
If you get scolded,
Flowers are okay. Let's make a Kendrick Lamar
it'll be like, hey, like it's.
Should the audition be the brass tacks, or would it be helpful to throw in some jokes?
I'm not gonna go over this part. For those of you watching who are like, should I apply? Like, I think for a lot of these, they're so nuts and bolts.
For
you could go watch the original audition at this point.
Business casual. For the video,
That's what I did in my. I showed my
personality to be fair.
How I like milk, but I can't have milk.
I'm so happy you're here.
It's not
aiming. We currently have like around a 2-hour gap between each other.
Yeah.
Because that PL talk like a little prize.
Yeah, they to show.
And you could, or a chance that you could turn around to management and say, I am too uncomfortable. Is a doubt or a chance that you could turn around to management and say, I am too uncomfortable to do this anymore. That's what we're trying to avoid. That's why we need the evidence. I hope that makes sense when it's.
I think that makes sense. Just like be very clear. Like, you need to be comfortable doing this content. Don't like apply.
Abuse my be lying around.
Would having an accent be seen as a disadvantage? No.
No.
So accents are fine, but being a tranny's not. Got it.
I see.
You should. I might have been
right now.
It's not me.
Yeah.
How deep of a voice is too?
Oh, here we go. How deep of a voice is too deep?
I don't know why I knew it was icy. Yeah.
How deep of a voice is too deep?
I have period cramps.
Okay.
I'm in pain.
Someone asked how deep of a voice is too deep. As long as you sound like
hey yo,
a
what's
woman.
up, ma?
Stop!
Where my
Sound
mug
like
at?
a We're looking for people.
Hey, lady!
Women. That's it.
Yo, mom, give me a kiss.
This. Do you hear my voice right now? This is pretty. People have considered this pretty deep.
Girl, your voice is not deep.
Me and Azura have like sort of deep voices. Like
Your
we don't have
voice is, like,
traditional. Like,
raspy,
Hey guys,
but not
how's it going?
deep.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So like,
Hi, what's going on?
we don't sound like Emmy, and that's okay.
Yeah, we don't.
That's okay. I don't even sound like Emmy.
Okay.
Emmy, drop the real. Drop it right now.
I don't even sound like Emmy, guys.
There you go. There you go. That's all you need to know, baby girl.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah. So a deep voice will not make a difference because all of us kinda None of us are.
Those are not deep voices.
I also did my audition with a high-pitched voice, and then I did
No,
voice
you
that, and then I
didn't.
got picked for the deep voice character because this
You
is
did not
normally my
get picked.
Patreon voice that I use for my Patreon
Fuck
Oh
audios.
my
off.
god.
And so, like, that's obviously deeper. So, yeah.
I got embarrassed about my high pitched voice, so I didn't do it.
I think, honest to God, they should just pull aside a trans VA who has a deeper voice and be like, this is fine. This would solve the whole problem. Like, bro, pull aside my audios and just be like, she's good or she's not good. And then we could just talk about it from there. But this is like, because it's like they don't understand. The lady who played the Femme Terminator in T3 had a deep voice. Yeah, like none of them have a deep voice. It's like, it's just like, it's like they're not thinking this one through. Like they're not making it clear. It's like, bro, like just pull aside a trans VA. There are a lot of them. Do the one trans VA from not Has Been Hotel, the other one, Hell of a Boss, Sally Mae. Be like, this is fine. Done. Good. And if it's not, then I don't know. Like, then at least we know how you stand on this. Like, it's just like, what do they mean? Like, how deep is too deep, actually? What is a woman's voice to them? What are they looking for? They clearly don't care about, like, whether you're British or, like, whatever, but, like, they do care how womanly you sound. It's not clear how womanly they want it. And, like, how womanly, it's like they just want you to sound like a cis woman. Like, it's... Yeah. And I don't think they know. I don't think they know either. Because they're probably not sitting there and even familiar with trans girl talent, you know? At least provide an example, yeah. Really seems like they're trying to skirt around anything explicitly. That's what I heard with this VOD as well.
I love Azura's high-pitched voice.
As Imi and Icy are part of the group, we know VAllure is comfortable, so gentle, or like, loose, like, pop. But let's again even post our Patreon link. Patreon.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
also may not be, like, some people are uncomfortable with lollipop body types,
Yeah, that
so
too.
they may not want to collab with you.
Lollipop body types. Yeah, I think some VTubers are uncomfortable with, like, children. Children characters. Bro, no way. Yeah, it's their nice way of saying, like, lolicon. It's like a sanitized way. I think I'm done watching. This is mentally draining to listen to at this point. It's so confusing and hypocritical and vague, and they're just inferior to listen to. Yeah. No. This is a 2-hour video.
And that's...
We're trying to skip through the Q&A part. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's not relevant to what we're talking about.
As for the next question,
Oh, man.
I know the models are pre-made, but if a talent wanted to change something like skin,
Oh, wait.
pre-made, but if a talent wanted to change something like skin color, that's not an issue.
Okay, that's
absolutely no-
legitimately nice. I'm glad that they're like, yeah, if you want, the model was designed this way, but, like, if you want your model to be darker, that's fine.
Problems with that. That doesn't bother me.
Azura also...
No problem. I think there was get permission from management for some
Lollipop,
adjustments.
or as
but
normal people call them, children.
In what direction do you see the larger VTubing community moving in? Do you see the rightist turned Zoomer men are manifesting itself within it? I think first of all, I think we're kind of going through an era where right-wing stuff is going to be seen as cringe again. Because, like, all these groypers are in, like, the White House and are taking away our parents' Social Security. And, like, and Elon Musk looks like a giga beta cuck. Like, he looks like such a fucking loser. So I think to begin with, like, groyper right-wing stuff is going to be seen as very uncool very quickly. Because, quite frankly, a lot of it is very uncool. And, like, also, everyone that's associated with that whole spiel looks like a fucking moron right now. So I think, first of all, generally speaking, we're about to see another, like, left-wing turn where people are going to get, like, super giga, like, into left-wing stuff. I just think it's coming because people are kind of sitting there saying, like, the right is really dumb and has a lot of power and is destroying the federal government in the US and, like, trying to, like, shoot Canadians. Like, what the fuck? Why? So I think, first of all, generally a right-wing turn for in America and some other places, I don't think as much. I think like a lot of people see the writing on the wall that like a lot of people on the right in this current stage are really dumb. I'm kind of more scared about I'm more scared about the fascists that come next, who are like actually intelligent, actually like have like really proper plans for how they want to control and bring like a more fascist like state into existence, and use this current moment of like the most stupidest people in the world running like say the federal US government in order to course correct the next time that they're able to. I do think like America in and of itself is becoming more fascist, and I think it's possible that what happens is like Trump holds power until he dies and then more competent fascists move in. So I'm not saying that like we're about to see like a peaceful transfer of power in 4 years. Like I do need to make that clear. Like I'm kind of concerned that like Trump is going to hold power, die, and then more competent fascists move in. But he's like a blundering idiot that just is smashing everything for a couple of years unless he's removed. I think it's possible he's like removed through force, but I don't know. I do think the right is going to be seen as less cool. And I think we're going to see a new kind of left that's more like a little degen and a little Hassan style appear. Less like, for lack of a better term, like woke scold, as they would say. Basically less concerned about like the nuances of individual actions and more concerned about like, you know, keeping fascists out of power. I think we're moving in that direction. And I think the VTubing community, like I think that's the larger sort of climate we're in. I hate to use the term woke scold. I just don't know another better one to use in this case to convey the point. And I think the larger VTubing climate in particular would be more vulnerable to right-wing influence if it didn't have so many trans and queer people in it. But a lot of VTubers and a lot of ASMRists are queer women, and a lot of VTubers and ASMRists are like trans, and a lot of them in general are like left-leaning. You know, like the quote-unquote woke tuber is very popular. Like it's very, very nice. It's very like a lot of people enjoy that kind of VTuber as well. So I don't know. I think there could be a schism in some ways in this community, but I think that like the right-wing VTuber appealing to a right-wing audience, I think the writing is a little on the wall that like it's going to lose its luster. It's not really cool to be right-wing when you control the government. You know what I mean? It's cool to be right-wing when like Biden's in power, like to these people. But it looks kind of lame when like you're obsessing over like transgender women when like your guy is in office. It looks like you're just an obsessive weirdo. So I think that stuff is going to lose some of its influence. And I think leftist stuff is going to be seen as more counterculture and influential again because, you know, leftists aren't in power. I think also leftist stuff is very popular. Like just think about the public perception of Palestine and Israel and how many people have virtually over the course of like 1 to 2 years shifted their perspective completely on Palestine and freeing Palestinians and Palestinian liberation, right? So like a lot of change is happening. I don't think the community is going to be like captured by this right-wing presence. I think and I do think like companies like this who are just trying to appeal to the greatest common denominator of people, they're eventually going when have leftists ever been in power? You know what I mean though? The belief, the illusion that the left is in power, even though Biden is like just a center righty, you know what I mean though? It's like this illusion, this like optics that's not even real. That's just like a made up thing. Because Biden was clearly so woke and gay. I think, yeah, I don't know. I think the space is not going to fall into right-wing stuff. I think like there are other spaces that are more likely to. Like I think like I'm like definitely always concerned about like the occult becoming more right-wing. I think that's always a concern. Okay, let me reach out. I can tell a lot of people are getting tired of it already. Yeah, people are just getting tired of it. Like people are getting tired of like Keck lolcal, so epic, 41%, like all that stuff is just it. I think like there is a moment with walls where like everyone's like, yeah, like if you spend all of your time in front of a computer saying like, ooh, 41%, ooh, 41%, you're just like a fucking weirdo. Like Who does that? Like, I hate the right, but I don't like even in my own case, like, it's not like I'm going on like 4chan and telling people there to kill themselves. Like, you know, like, the hate that's one. I mean, like, seeing like all those like elderly people going to like Republican like congressmen's meeting, like town halls in like fucking Bible Belt America, and be like, you better not take away my social security or I will riot. Like, yeah, it's a little cooked for the groypers. Like, they're not gonna win that fight. Who's gonna win? A 25-year-old with no job who watches like who's a groyper, or like a fucking stacked, bricked up like white AARP member with a lot of money who's mad at Elon Musk? Like, it's really cooked for those people. And a lot of people are not like anti-DEI. Like, they best they found DEI stuff generally annoying, and now like they feel like they need to defend it with their life. And like, just saying like I support DEI is like very easy to do, and a lot of people generally feel overall, even if like a lot of DEI stuff was like inefficient in companies, like if they see it as a net good, you know. Hi, Professor Plum. I hope the New Left just actually does fucking anything. I think they are. I think that it's going to be like the Tesla stuff. To me, is really clear. Scumbag left types. Yeah, they used to use SJWs. Frankly, it was right wing during that rebranding. All this backlash is always against treating someone decently. You can pretend that being pro-establishment is cool when mealy-mouthed centrists are in power, and grifters can convince you that being a businessman is cool. And then they seize power and they show their ass about the kind of whiny, cowardly man-children right-wing people are as a rule. Yeah. Biden saying like, buddy, there are at least 3 genders. The occult has at least here always been very right-wing. I definitely feel like there was this really big push in the late 2010s and it continued in the early 2020s to reclaim the occult and reclaim specifically pagan spaces. Like all of the like what are they called? The Nordic stuff. Super right wing, and finally like it's had like this left wing movement pushing that shit out. So I think like that's also a good indicator of what's going to come to. Like, I really wanted to create that one image board, right? Like Yuri-chan. Like, I want to do that in the future, which is basically it would be a little uniquely developed. Like, it'd probably be a private image board, highly curated for who can use it. But I want to create like a lesbian Yuri focused image board that's not public, because the end goal for me is to do the same thing that like all the Nordic pagans that are massive leftists did, which is like come in and say like, nah, like this stuff can be ours. Fuck you. Get it out of here. I think it's totally possible to turn image boards into like super lefty spaces. So it's like, that's like one thing I want to do when I have like a lot of money. I guess it'll be like my VAllure. I don't know. But I've always been like a little edgy. I just like, people don't realize it because they're like, you're so woke. And it's like, I am woke, but I also have a big sense of humor. You scratch an esoteric and you'll find a Nazi. I think it depends on like the esoteric, but most esoteric occultists that are like really into it, you just know if esoteric occultists based on who they read. Like, you just know. You're like, oh, you are so down with the Reich. Like, that is fucked up. Like, there's just some esoteric occultists. Like, if you ever like hear a podcast where someone's like, what's that one like Nazi occultist or fascist occultist, and they start like bringing him up, it's like, you're just like, turn it off immediately. Because there was like this fascist occultist that was like making waves in the pagan witchcraft space like a couple of years ago, and she kept being like, here's this super cool occultist that like has a bad rap but I love, and then like you would dig into him and be like, oh, he has a bad rap because he was a Nazi. You really like Nazi occultists. Like, it's just sort of like that thing. I think like some occult, there's like a lot of occult people who are very left-wing too, but like they also tend to like veer towards chaos magic and stuff. I definitely agree, taking down cult mentality. People don't know they were DEIA. DEI polls higher than Democrats, so true. Oh my god, this chat is popping. Yuri is just kind of a lesbian media. Yeah. Yeah, Yuri-chan would be like for lesbians. It would be like for gay women. Okay, let's continue watching. I'm still behind.
I'm not going to pretend that it didn't cause a few issues, but if you look on each way in Odin after, you are going to come on and you accept the model, I think that's 2 weeks before debut, it causes a lot of confusion for Emmy on behalf. Like it's
This did not cost money to my, if you know.
And my skin tone are like,
this,
we were.
as a,
I was just lucky to be. I wanted to be.
Are you
Did
making
you
yourself
ask?
darker for your 2.0? Is it?
Yeah, I tried. Oh, what?
Nice.
That's good.
From-
I don't see the problem with
I
that.
did.
No, but I'm just
And I finally got fat good. The architect Alex.
Would you
You will see
consider a
them in
talent who
summer.
has their own projects on the side if they still fulfill the requirements? They do not want you to be like streaming and making content on.
You are exclusive to VAllure.
Yeah, on
Yeah, there you go. No
Priority.
F4F outside of
you're
VAllure.
gonna join and it's not if you're to the company, everyone at
As a talent, are you not allowed to? Are you allowed to not vibe a specific tag? If you are hired and it's your niche, then obviously, like, because Stronny's gonna tell you straight up, like, oh, this is what you're representing.
Yeah.
And then if you're like, you know what, I'm not into that, I don't feel comfortable, then don't do it. Like, don't.
Yeah. If there's like an
Yeah,
audio
but if there's
and like you feel like, oh, this, like, I don't know, if there's an audio where you say something and you're like, oh, I don't feel comfortable saying that in the audio, you can ask and say like, hey, can we switch up this audio a little bit to not
That's
include
good, at
XYZ?
least.
Like, that's okay.
That's good at least.
But
If
if
you're-
it's... Go ahead.
Sorry, if you're uncomfortable with the tag, I have talked to, or unfamiliar with the tag, I have talked to Stronny saying, hey, can I, what does this mean? And then Stronny sometimes would be like, oh, do you want me not to do that audio anymore? And I'm like, no, I just don't know how to, I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, like
So-
Mercy had like 5 rim job audios, and she's like, "Can I stop? Please do it." Like, I'm getting this like every other
I'm
month,
working at the
man.
ass
And so
licking
it's like- and I was
factory,
getting
and my manager's telling me I gotta keep licking ass.
some like other tag, and so like
Oh, good, Nyaruka, have fun.
we have
went ahead and all just literally so actually agreed to it. They put it, first year's normally taken care of just so you can kind of gently cover an array of tasks.
Thinking of like, you know, changing like.
Can be done at,
Someone else burped.
movie nights,
that's gonna-
karaoke, etc. can be done at membership streams.
The
Okay.
whole just do some shady ass in quotation marks at VAllure straight up. Don't do that, and we're supposed to groom them, not the other way around. Literally get pulled up by management for that, being like,
Thank you.
Yeah, texting in there to your viewers. You know, like
Tell them
can
you love them. Say goodbye
they do a Discord.
and so forth, stuff and but we do.
We do not.
There's one question I do want to
Discord,
address that I
like-
heard about too.
But they will try everything in their power to make sure everything's good.
Another long day at the ass factory.
Are there community requirements to maintain Discord, like movie nights, karaoke in your server, etc.?
We do not.
We
have
do not have
servers.
public Discords.
We do not have
Well, we
public
have the
Discords.
community Discord in terms of it's a notification Discord, but we do not have like a personal fan Discord where people can like sit and talk to us and stuff, and like it just
Yeah, we
causes
don't do
issues
that.
and
We
drama and uncomfortable situations. And so, for the sake of the community, we do not have that.
If you
I think that's a big negative. I don't think like this is a red flag. I just think it's a major con to keep in mind. For a number of reasons. First of all, I understand that it helps with content moderation, which is why they do it. They have like the shared space, but it does prevent the talent from building up a community with their specific fans as closely. I think the other thing is that while they say it does cause drama and stuff like that, and I hear that, I understand why they would avoid that. I think it can lead to hurting the ability for this talent to build the strong connections it needs to, if anyone that's doing these models wants to graduate out of VAllure and do something else, I think it really puts a lot of, I think it sets them up for just a bit more struggle, because when you have a Discord server, it allows you to get closer with your audience. And even if you're not the type to get super close, like I love my audience, I love you guys so much, but I'm not the type to like hang out in VC with you guys. Like it's just not my vibe. Like I just don't do that. Like it's just not me, you know. Like it doesn't fit my vibe either. Like I'm very like dommy, you know. I'm very much like, you guys are below me, I'm above. Like I'm your goddess, you know. You serve me. You know, I'm a succubus that claims you, you know, like we're not on the same level fully. I mean, I'm like playful about it, you know, it's like it's a kayfabe, it's all fun, but like, you know, it keeps the illusion if I'm a little distant. I think it does hurt these the talent to not have their own Discord. I understand why they do this. It would be a pain for moderation purposes. It would probably cause some additional conflict, but I think it's not helpful to the talent.
Already
They're
have
probably
That feels like it'd make personal audience cultivation difficult. I agree. Study to be a linguist now working nights at the Ass
a
Factory.
Discord to be active.
Many people are saying
Or
this.
be shady ass shit because you're not like respecting what the whole thing going
It's
on
in the
here
contract,
is
exclusivity.
Mhm.
provided. It's so
Yeah, with YouTube and Twitch being how they are for content, although Patreon's TOS isn't the most friendly as well. A lot of people have been shifting to Patreon, so it's also just kind of nice for the viewer to be able to have something a little bit more affordable. So
Okay.
I mean,
I believe they have a shared VAllure Discord.
hang on a minute there. Wait. I think we should still have some boundaries to random people coming into the stream talking
oh
about
yeah, retires or in the unlikely case is terminated, put in a box, be based on our silhouettes.
the split is offered if the talent makes over a certain threshold.
Activate that.
Realistic
To help with projects like cover music and
but
Yeah.
paid by. I think traditional agencies, they maybe arrange collabs on your behalf with outsiders.
I don't really know how to word it.
A bra
Dirty
reveal for
panties.
Shibi. If
Spanish family. Mhm.
it is a real date.
Like everybody else's fair game.
Okay.
Yes, but think of
I don't think there's really much else to say about VAllure. I think that was also a lot. This is like a 3-hour and 30-minute stream. It's a very long stream. I think we went through what was most important. With all that out of the way, I'm now going to address the final question, which is, should you apply to VAllure? So let's take a look, because I've been saving this part. Let's take a look at what Gen 2 looks like. So by the way, so this is everyone that we were just seeing live. So we have Azora. We have Icy, one of the lolicons. Immy, one of the lolicons. I love how I went from saying lolicon coded to just, oh, they're lollies, because they are. They just are. Mercy, the most say-so one. Shibi, and then we have Strawny. Strawny is DTL. And then Gen 2 was discussed a little bit. Cuffs, bows, medals, tails, guns, and brands. So it looks like Cuffs is going to be BDSM. Pre-selected town. I wonder who that is. So there's 5 slots left. Bows. Medals looks like some sort of dragon succubus thing. I'm getting a little bit of lolicon vibes. Tails. So, well, I don't know. Looks like some kind of bird thing. Guns. We got some horns. And then we have brands. Which is like, I guess, I don't know. I think that one might be lolicon too. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So, Xing out the 2 lolicons, because I have no interest in helping people become lollies. Tails looks kind of badass. I like Tails, and I hope Medals is not lolly, but I think she is, unfortunately. So the question really is, should you apply for VAllure? Because I've talked a little bit about the purpose of this stream being also to give advice and suggestions for people that want to apply. So, gotta keep that 33% lolly ratio. I'm gonna say it right now. My opinion about the lolly stuff shifted significantly from, I guess they have some lolly type stuff going on, to, oh my god, it's just, they just straight up don't care. There's lolly stuff. So I think first of all, obviously, if this bothers you, and I think for most people, there would be an aspect of, I don't know how I feel about that. Don't apply. Just like I'm being straight, like don't. I know there's going to be some sex workers and performers out there who are like, I need the bag. I want the bag. What's your advice? And so here's what I say. For trans women, I think, because I'll start there, I think it's pretty obvious based on what you saw in the audition stream, how they feel about